Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Hello.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, did we have any new patrons? I don't think we did.
Oh, what's that?
Patrons?
Join the Patreon, hottest Patreon in Canada for
Nope.
Joe Rogan review shows.
Yeah, there we go.
Gotta go slow there.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot there's
Let
so
him
many
get
more.
it all out.
Let him cook.
Hit the notifications, subscribe, leave a comment, get us with the rhythm.
Slam that like button.
Post Joe after the regular show.
Kamar, that's a great joke.
No Patreons this week.
You got to get on the rhythm, on the algorithm.
Dude, at work.
That is really funny. I'm sorry, I have to break format here.
Sure.
I know we don't talk about our weeks anymore, but
Yeah.
it's so important. I think you'll appreciate this. I think everybody will
I don't
appreciate
think we
this.
have time for this.
So we were driving over on the way here,
And I said entre nous.
Kamar said, I have
said
to tell
entre
you
nous.
something entre nous, which I don't speak French. I don't know what he's talking about. All I know is what he told me needs to be told to the world as a public service announcement.
Okay.
This is what he said. Okay,
painting
I'm going to
his
tell
toenails
you.
now.
No, I'm going to tell you what he said, and then we're going to work backwards.
Entre nous, I said.
He started with entre nous, and then
Which
he
you're
said,
breaking right away.
Oh, right away.
Yeah.
I shat out a zin. No. What did he say? I found a zin in my ass. And I said, what?
Okay.
And he said, a zin in my ass. And I said, whoa, hold on a sec. Let's get to the bottom of this. No pun intended, or pun intended. So apparently he swallowed a zin.
Okay.
And I said, oh, so you shat out the zin? And he said, no, I found it in my ass in the shower. So at which point I had to say, whoa, hold on a second. So you didn't shit out the zin, but you found the zin up your ass? And he's like, well, I took a shit and I thought it was clean. So you see what I'm dealing with here. You know what I mean? Not only is he...
Think of it as like a twig sticking out of a dog's ass with a leaf or something.
So we're not even sure what's happened here, okay, Matt? We're not sure if he shot out the zin,
Yeah.
then didn't wipe, and then found the zin in his ass in the shower, or if the zin just somehow like made its way through his body sans shit. You know what I'm saying? It just like repelled the zin pod from his stomach.
Did you get
That'd be
drunk?
interesting.
Did you get drunk this week? And
Not the night before.
not like put a zin up your ass drunk?
No.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's
Now,
interesting.
that's very interesting.
My brain didn't ever go there, but
That's
are
very
you sure you didn't
interesting.
put multiple zin up your ass?
Maybe I did.
Because I'm starting to think that's
Maybe I did.
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't going fast enough sublingually.
That's what I'm saying.
What's faster?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could totally see him
anal
on Reddit
absorption.
and someone being like, has anyone tried hooping a zin? Because
Well,
it
what
really...
happened? I get it.
Entre nous, I said.
Entre nous, I know what happened.
Okay.
He was at work.
Yeah.
And they've started banning the Zin. And he was like,
Not
well,
true.
I need my nicotine.
At his painting job,
No,
they
no,
banned
no.
this-
At the
oh,
Shaw
at the-
Center.
yeah.
Ran into the bathroom, shoved a whole bunch of Zin up his ass, forgot they were there, and one got left over. Entre nous.
how long, like, I would, like, zin packets are, like, substantial enough, right?
First of all, isn't it weird that they wouldn't make them like biodegradable in your stomach?
Well, that's why I'm thinking he put it in his
Well, no,
ass.
you know
as
why?
opposed to-
Oh, you know why they can't do that? It's because you would have a massive OD on that nicotine, I imagine. It's coming out too quickly all at once if it absorbs through your stomach. Like, you're not supposed to eat the Zin, right?
No.
Obviously. But how many people are just fucking finding Zins in their ass, Matt?
Well, Leave a comment below if you've ever found a Zin in your ass crack. Kamar, you want to go over the guest list so we can do what we actually do here? Entre nous.
Entrepreneur. I'm sorry, I had to.
No, I think you did the right thing. there.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate that.
2109, Abigail Schreier. 2110, the return of Fahim Anwar.
Your favorite.
No, he doesn't have a problem with Fahim Anwar.
Any successful brown comedian, Kamar has a very big problem
Is he successful?
with. See?
2111, Cat Williams. And then we finish off the week with 2112, Dan Soder.
He tried to slide Finna in there. He went, we Finna the weekend off with, but that's not how it works.
Did I say Cat Williams
Yeah.
last week? It was going to be on?
Did you?
No.
No, I don't. I was just trying to slip it in. But I swear to God, I was watching We Might Be Drunk, and Mark Norman was talking about Cat Williams and said, yeah, he said he wanted to be a Rogan, and now he's on. And that was like 2 weeks ago. So and I heard about it, but I hadn't not seen Instagram
Do you really
posts.
think Joe would have
Well,
an
that's the-
episode of Cat Williams and sit on it for 2 weeks?
It's not just that. It's also that,
Can't
like,
imagine that.
what's
They're edited.
Hold on. What's crazier though is what you mentioned. Is he really sitting on social media clips? I mean, I guess if he has a team doing it and it's not him, then maybe. What I mean is like that video of Cat Williams playing the driving simulator, like that dropped the day the episode dropped. So what I'm saying is if he recorded that 2 weeks ago, he sat on a video that he had of Cat Williams playing the driving simulator. And instead of posting it when he got the video,
I mean,
like a normal person would,
That to me is less like egregious than him having this video or this episode with Cat Williams, which Cat Williams, we were talking about that 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? He has it at the time and then sits. That's insane. Why not release it and get the hype that surrounds it?
Or maybe he's riding the wave and rehyping it.
maybe
it's
Mark
still
was
too soon.
I mean, again, Mark drinks a lot. He might have been speaking in the way where he's like, he knows that Cat's going on.
That's what I assumed it was.
Yeah, that's what it probably is.
So-
That sounds like the most likely.
But it sort of sounded like you said it, and he was on it. So yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, we're gonna start this week off with 21.
You want to rate the week first?
Oh,
I can't believe I'm on the ball. I've had fucking 4 teas, so I'm
That's what it
flying
is.
on caffeine.
I give it a 4.
Wow. I don't know about a 4. Simon's doing maths over there. I guess I'll give it a 3. Simon, you want to kill the dead air and actually?
I'm going to give it a 2.85, Matt. 2.85.
Thank you, Simon. Simon.
Back to you,
Simon,
Kamar.
everyone. Simon with the weather. No, it's Kamar with the weather. All right, Kamar, let's start it off. Fire it up.
2111, Cat Williams.
So ends up being a pretty good episode, but definitely not the Cat Williams episode we were looking for.
Thank you. I didn't want to be the fucking
How do
Debbie
you have
Downer
a
here.
guy on in the midst of all of this mayhem he causes and they don't mention it once? They talked about the black people in dresses for about a minute before Joe, sent that down a different fucking hole.
Can I point something out too? Joe was like, why do they always try to put beefy masculine men in dresses? And I was like, I'm sorry. Dave Chappelle back in the day and Cat Williams at any time in his life are not what I would call beefy masculine.
I didn't remember beef. I just remember him saying black actors.
When he was talking about Fahim, he mentioned it later with Fahim Anwar, and he said intimidating big black men. And again, they did it with a lot of, white men have done it forever. Think about Kids in the Hall, first of all. And I know you can be like, they did that to themselves.
They did that to themselves.
That's fine. But my point is they were in Hollywood, were they not? That was a show on television. They were men, white.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same thing.
Maybe
but
it's the same thing as asking an actress to show her tits.
No,
Yeah.
it's even worse than that.
Okay, I'm just trying to find
The comparable
equivalent.
A comparable would be like what's something terrible? It'll come to me anyways. But yeah, no.
What's something terrible?
Well, no, just putting them in the dress like that
Pardon me.
is in that like as a white guy getting in your dress and then going back to your neighborhood, and a black guy getting in a dress and going back to his neighborhood, it's way harder for the black guy. The white neighborhood is a lot more understanding of men dressing up in dresses. Let's put it that way.
So the white neighborhood is more open to acting, is your point?
No.
Like, does Wesley Snipes, when he's in Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything?
Totally different thing. And that's what Joe said too.
But that's why I'm asking you. Why
It's
is that different?
Because that is a movie about drag queens.
Okay.
What they're having these guys do is like come out for these bit roles wearing the dress, and it's to make fun of them, not to.
So when Eddie Murphy does it, it's fine.
Did Eddie Murphy do it?
Big Mama's House, like all those.
Well, he didn't do Big
But the
Mama's House.
clumps,
The
he
Clump.
plays 8 women.
Yeah, I know, but he's playing
did it
a
to
shit
himself.
ton of women, and he did it to himself.
Fine, Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's House.
Well,
Wasn't Martin Lawrence running down the street with a gun like 15 years ago?
Yes, that was the story. I believe it was the freeway in Atlanta.
anyways.
It writes itself. No, I disagree with you guys 100%. I couldn't care less if they had talked about that. You can do your own research. I think the silence on the people that he talked about speaks volumes.
The
I think in
silence
general-
of the people explain. Sorry.
Well, Kevin Hart hasn't come out with a whole, opus about how
Well,
Cat Williams is categorically
He
wrong.
spoke on it.
Did they? I never
Yeah,
heard.
Kevin Hart did, and I
He
heard
said-
him saying that Cat Williams
He's a liar.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope Cat Williams wasn't lying in this episode, because someone said they'd listened some clips to me and that they thought Cat Williams was so defensive. And
Yeah.
I saw that more as Cat Williams didn't want to say things
Oh, he seemed very
for
reserved.
fear of reprisal.
But I don't get it. Like, you're gonna go. So he's willing to say all that on Shannon Sharp's podcast, which gets so many fucking views, but he's not willing to say it on Joe's. I don't really
Or
understand.
maybe something happened when he said it on Shannon's podcast.
But this was
Maybe he got visited by the men in dresses.
I thought
That's
this was
hilarious.
a different side that you would not have expected to get from Cat.
Imagine that's how it is. It's like the Men in Black, but it's these two huge black guys. They show up in dresses and
Yeah.
they convince you to.
I've got a polka dot dress. Yeah. Put this
the
on,
dress.
motherfucker.
Sorry, Kamar, what were you saying?
Hope
guys-
you like playing a white lady.
That would be the ultimate. Actually, they did that,
Yeah, white chicks. Yeah.
you
but
guys,
they weren't fat and they weren't wearing dresses. Oh, they were wearing dresses.
You guys think Cat Williams is crazy?
No, I think he's eccentric as fuck. I'll say that.
Him not going on Rogan and kind of defending some of the things he said makes me question a little bit that Shannon Sharp episode, but it might have been just Rogan didn't want to talk about those things, but why that would never stop Cat from saying what he wanted to say, you know?
I mean, I fear for someone who's like, I read books,
Oh, dude, that was the best.
but then is like many books. Some of them up to 200 pages. Like, I was like,
I think he misspoke. I think he
Someone
wanted to
needs to
say
tell
like
Kat that's most books.
2,000 pages.
I was like, don't give this guy The Stand by
Some of them
Stephen
up
King.
to 200 pages.
Joe, these books are 100 to 200 pages long.
I would read 800 books a week.
He sounded like Ty Lopez. Cat Williams. I'm standing here with my Bentley and all these books I've read.
Would you?
All these motherfucking books.
Would you
I'm finna gonna read all these books.
think he's a conspiracy theorist?
Well, I mean, listen, everyone's a conspiracy theorist nowadays.
Okay, he's obviously super into like some things I really like.
Well, that's why you loved this
When he was
episode.
talking about the emerald tablets, that's
Toth.
Like,
That
Simon,
is,
there's no way coming into this. There's 0% chance coming into this. You thought Cat Williams is going to go hard on like ancient civilization,
no,
space.
that's not at all what I thought this was gonna be like. Billy Carson. Do you know Billy Carson?
Of course not.
Billy Carson is like how would I even describe him? He's into all that ancient civilization stuff, but like Graham Hancock probably thinks Billy Carson is crazy.
Okay.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He like takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah.
He was quoting Billy Carson directly in some of this episode.
That's always fun.
Oh no, I mean, and I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm just he was super into that shit, obviously.
I'd also say that I don't think Joe wants to trash comics because he's had Kevin Hart on.
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't want anyone to do that about comics.
Well, no, it's the union, the fraternity, that you know what I mean.
Well, we've seen it before, so
Then don't have Cat Williams on. Don't have Cat Williams on 2 weeks after the biggest fucking uproar in comedy history ever, and then have him on to talk about ancient civilizations. It don't finna make no sense.
It's too predictable.
I'm just gonna use it wrong every time I can. I don't know if you noticed before I said I'm finna going to do this.
Yeah, so
finna
white.
takes
Yeah.
the going to
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
I
you're
like
learning
double negative that.
Well,
shit.
you're learning a new language.
I'm
That's
learning
like,
a-
yeah.
I'm finna give it a try. You see, I did it
There you-
again.
Yeah, no, I'm finna give it a try. That works.
It always works.
I finna try.
this is your-
oh yeah, I
I'm
finna,
give it a try. You work.
Winner.
But even when you get it, you're not getting it. It's not a good look right now.
Anywho, listen.
Simon says finna and looks at the only black person in the room and goes, "Did I nail it?"
I'm not saying I did not like this episode. I very much like this episode. At the same time, if I'm Matt, I'm enraged by this episode.
I was enraged,
One
yeah.
who has no
Yeah.
interest in the ancient
Yeah.
civilizations, this episode would enrage me. It would enrage me. I would be
Yeah.
yelling at the motherfucking
An hour in,
Phone.
I was like, "Someone get him a motherfucking cognac! Like, what is happening here? Like, get this guy drunk! Like, let's open the floodgates! Come on!" I was bummed. Yeah, he's right.
I definitely,
Simon knows me well.
I definitely got the impression that Cat Williams was constantly holding back.
Well,
Even when he was talking crazy about the ancient civilizations, he was holding back.
And acting like Joe, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can't talk anymore.
you know what's weird to me is that Cat Williams in his comedy is like very well spoken. It's all like the jokes are, what does Joe call it? The economy of words. Like he's very, but when you, on this podcast, it was like talking to Parker. I'll probably edit that part out, but you know, do you know how sometimes like Parker's a bad example, but you know how sometimes someone will be talking to you and they're like being so cryptic, but they think that you're on the same page as them.
That's exactly what was happening here.
Yeah.
But it seemed like Kat knew some things that he could say could harm him. If I don't know, and maybe that's just making the air to seem like it's
I'm
secret
not sure I'm
boom-boom.
understanding what you're saying here, entre nous.
What does that mean anymore?
Are you saying Cat was holding back? Like, what's your stance here? I don't get it.
Well, no, I would like everything Kat to say is true. There is a God. The aliens have come here. The pyramids were a power plant. There's Illuminati.
I know, but what's your stance on like them not talking about anything else?
I mean,
Because Joe doesn't do that. He's never been on his show. He didn't even trash Donnell for Donnell cutting all over the RZA or whatever, like being an interrupter. He spared him. It's not his style
true.
to trash other comics.
Mars, right.
So that it wasn't going to happen.
So Joe was pretty much, he was just kind of calling out Cat because Cat said Joe doesn't want me on the podcast.
Yeah. That's why he had
I
to
want
have him
you
on.
on the podcast,
Just to show I don't want you on the podcast.
But we're not going to talk about any of.
We don't shit on comics.
well, in Joe's defense too. Let's hold on.
They
In Joe's,
do shit on comics, but
in Joe's defense,
Not on Rogan.
I think it's also kind of a greasy move to just be like, bring him in and try to do the same podcast.
It's
I don't.
Maury.
I agree. Yeah. So like to me, I mean, I get what you're saying, Simon. You would like Joe almost as a friend of people to go, hey, what 6 comics do you think aren't worth their salt that I had on? Like, you know what I mean? Or maybe not that question, but
I think he could take away anything said about Rogan's crew, which was only one comment, and focus on some of the other stuff that was said. Maybe spend a little more time on the dresses, maybe talk about like, okay, they're not going to talk about Kevin Hart. I get that because they don't want to, but like, who gives a fuck about Steve Harvey? Who gives a fuck about Cedric the Entertainer? These guys aren't real comedians. They're not part of that brotherhood. They're
You're
a
not on
whole
Black
different
Twitter.
thing.
well,
It's
and
a
I mean,
different
Simon's right.
He
Like,
just pulled
Joe's-
the race card
yeah.
on me. Did you
had
see
to.
what he
Yeah,
did there? Go
yeah.
fuck yourself.
Sorry,
man.
dude.
You're not on any fucking
finna do
colored
it.
Twitter.
What's funny is that like he acts like you can't go on Black Twitter.
No, I'm just saying it was big in a community. For the culture, it was huge.
What was huge?
I don't know if my mom
Cat
would know
Williams
who Cat
going
Williams is, Steve Harvey, or Cedric the Entertainer.
What am I not seeing that was on Black Twitter though that contradicts what I just said?
That it's none of like it's not Joe's purview.
Because he's white.
Also,
Yeah, maybe.
Kamar, he's never going to have
That's
Steve
crazy.
Harvey or Cedric the Entertainer on.
This is what I'm saying.
I understand-
when he was on Willie D's podcast, they talked about it. And maybe the one thing I'll give you, Joe could have asked, who are the unfunny comedians that are surrounding me?
I
And
wouldn't
even
have
when
done
me
that.
saying that, it sounds stupid.
I wouldn't have done that. It's not what I'm saying. He could have picked some parts of that thing and they could have had some fucking pretty meaningful discussions about what was going on. Instead, it went in a whole different direction. I liked it, but I could see
And
it.
whatever result came from that, it would not make your life any better.
I also got the vibe that
This
Kat,
did make my life better.
I also got the vibe that Kat was like, "You're one of the unfunny comedians."
He didn't seem to have a lot of respect for Joe.
Interesting.
I'll back that shit.
Like, I think Kat just went on because someone in his camp was like, "If you get an invite to the biggest podcast in the world,
You don't say no.
yeah, you kind of have to go." Like, he's giving you the green light.
For sure, though, there was
Because he seemed, if you think about, you mentioned the Willie D. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kamar. You mentioned the Willie D. Just go back and watch that Willie D. or Shannon Sharp podcast. He seems much more open and friendly and like way more.
Black Twitter.
Yeah,
Maybe you're right though. Maybe it was just having like a little bit of cognac.
dude, that's what
Maybe
I'm
just
saying. Open
being
the
so
floodgates,
high
baby.
and not drinking just made him like super introspective. Who knows, man? I don't think so. I think it was more he was just watching his words very carefully for whatever reason. Maybe he thought Joe was going to try and trap him, and he was just like, who knows? I don't know. They had never met. They're not buddies,
They had never met.
which is insane, right?
No.
I think it's insane.
If you're a successful comedian, you should never see comedians.
He saw that Joe had a dress ready. He was like, "I'm not drinking any goddamn cognac." Nothing? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just so annoyed by him.
By Joe not asking.
No, you.
No,
he
but
was
you.
pointing right at you there. He
sorry.
wasn't pointing at your phone.
How did they know Mars was red? They always had telescopes? Or was there writings of Mars being a red planet before then?
That I don't know.
And this,
But it looks red, like on a with no light pollution. It shines somewhat red,
maybe.
and it's close enough to us. Isn't that the
maybe.
like if you were in the
think-
desert and it was the
You
closest?
think when you were at your cottage, you could see Mars?
It's not the
Yes.
closest to us though. Mercury, man, very
No. What
early.
I'm saying though is it's one of
Venus
the
and
closest to
Mercury.
us, and what I'm saying is in the rotation where it's the closest to the Earth on a clear.
see it with your bare eyes.
Yeah, you might be able to.
Okay. Well, that's a strike.
Well, it's not a strike.
I guess it-
I
no,
was just saying that's what I think. That's my opinion. The rings of Saturn, though, like that shit's fucking crazy.
You think you'll never believe in God?
Well, no, because
Oh,
we've
it's crazy that they knew about the Ring of Saturn before they could see the Ring of
Yeah,
Saturn. Yes. Okay.
that's crazy, right?
That's
like we can,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
that's nuts.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
But again, that's like it's like Einstein hypothesizing the black hole before they ever found one.
Goes back to the Romans,
What does?
Mars being red.
Okay, yeah.
That they, because Mars was their god of war, fiery was because they were seeing something red in the sky. So maybe you're right. It was just without all the light pollution and shit like that. When it's in its right orbit or whatever.
That's exactly what I was saying.
it
And the
appears
right
to be
on the
red.
right night and the right, it would in a very dark sky where everything is one color. I don't know.
I mean, we know for certain that is quite possible. We also know for certain that, like, when they take a picture of outer space, they then make up the colors for outer space.
Well, a guy
right?
told me not last night, on Friday night, that they can see through a telescope the moon lander.
Like he can, or that like with the
They
right.
can. He said they can see with the telescope the moon lander, and there's also mirrors they put up there that reflect.
That doesn't surprise me though, Kamar. Like, we see the moon. Like, you can almost see a crater on the moon from here. You know what I mean?
I know, but that would just prove that someone's been there. It's pretty.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean that they went when they said they went.
Yes.
And it also doesn't mean that humans have ever gone. They could have just sent a fucking thing up there.
Considering all the difficulties they're having in 2020 doing it, I
Yeah.
just wonder how they got so lucky back then.
We just nailed it 7 times in a row.
When Joe was asking about shadow governments, and he said a shadow government is no more difficult to run than a normal government. Would you have this sort of weird thing with the they being super competent, right?
Well, but that's the thing is like, that's why like, did you see Trudeau? I don't know. That's why I was saying to Simon a couple years ago, like I read this book about conspiracies, and the guy's whole point was like, conspiracies do exist. We almost always find out about them. Sometimes it takes a long time, but like most conspiracies come to light eventually. Through court cases, through redacted statements, through whatever, we eventually find out.
So there are conspiracies.
Yeah. But the point is that there's like every single conspiracy you hear about is not necessarily, it doesn't give it.
You're saying some of it is just dumb people doing stupid things and not necessarily a conspiracy?
Yeah. And sometimes it's just people making shit up, just saying, I think that, you know what I mean? Like there are conspiracies, of course, like the Gulf of Tonkin. And I guess there are some that we don't find out about. Like JFK, we still don't really know.
Well, I mean, we know it's not what they said.
I think we can all agree on that, yeah. But again, without fully knowing, like we don't, you know what I mean? You'd think this far out, we'd have all the pieces of the puzzle.
I mean, I was just listening to a documentary. They have a lot of pieces of the puzzle now because a bunch of FOIA shit came through, right? Like they can only hide things for 50 years or whatever. Like it's pretty fucking, and this is crazy. It's pretty evident now, even to a layman, looking at the proof they have that the CIA killed John F. Kennedy. That means that their own country killed their own like that should be the biggest story ever of all time today.
Yeah.
Today, if they know that, if they found something new and they know that your own government killed your own president,
never happening.
Like, come on, that is and then you talk about freedom. I have the freedom to say whatever I want, but here, when we don't like what our president's doing, we just kill him. You know, like,
well, it does. You're right. It changes the whole freedom talk.
Fucking insane, dude. That's insane.
What's crazy there, though, is because
we're way more free than they are. We're not killing any of our prime ministers.
Kennedy was assassinated, and the narrative would have been Lee Harvey Oswald. Like, I don't know how many people at that time were thinking about second shooters and stuff, except for the people involved.
Nobody.
And then the Zapruder film came out, and that started it. So from that point till, and like you said, it's just been such a slow burn, the release of that one.
The CIA also like they have Oswald as their patsy, but they also have the whole mob as their patsy as well. Because that's what most people thought. Oh, the mob killed JFK. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, it is a conspiracy. And then meanwhile, nope. You know what I mean? Just people inside our own government, not our government, their government. But
no, but that's a good example too. Like conspiracy can also be created by the government just to create the narrative they want,
which they do all the time. Matt, look at the UFO thing like that. Remember I told you for every like a government op, there's a disinformation op that goes with that op. That's just part of the course of action. And it has been for a long time in the United States.
But you're not saying like opposition, are you? Operation?
Yeah, operation.
An operation.
I thought he was going ops, keep with the finna.
For every op,
confused.
there's a counter, meaning that there's people out there spreading misinformation about every operation that they do just to make sure that if somebody gets caught, they can say that they're crazy. Like there's all sorts of reasons, but.
Cats, sure, there's aliens. Sure, they've been here. Sure, they built the pyramids. I thought it was interesting too how when Joe was like doing his bit about from the beginning of the cell phone with Michael Douglas, and Kat was like, well, no. Someone on a CB would care to disagree with you. And do you ever remember as a kid having walkie-talkies?
Of course. It's the best.
It was it's not such a stretch, the phone all of a sudden.
No.
We could have had this sort of communication long ago if everyone had their own CB, and then you start a thread.
Yeah, you just phone somebody and then put the walkie-talkie right up to the... Just speaking of pyramids for a sec, because I was watching something on or listening to something. They were talking about all the so in let's just take Egypt, okay? In Egypt, there's the 15 pyramids that we know about, and then there's something like a presumed another, who knows, 50, 100 pyramids buried underground, okay? That they're just buried by time. In South America, there's like some crazy number, like 10,000, 20,000, whatever, how many thousand pyramids that are buried beneath the jungle. There's pyramids that they're finding just all over the place. And we're not talking in like the rainforest. You're talking about like thousands and thousands of pyramids. It would totally make sense if those things were energy conductors. It just seems to me like it's like exactly what Tesla said. They were building these things to harness energy. We see these 4 giant ones in Egypt, and you don't even think of them like that because how could this one thing power enough of the desert? You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't. It was these networks of pyramids, and they happen everywhere you find pyramids. It's just interesting.
And like he was saying, how stupid it'd be that these people were just building a mausoleum.
Well, we know that's not true. Like that's another.
But that's what you were taught as a kid. King Tut. That was
it's a tomb.
They wanted a tomb. Thank you, Mona Lisa.
Well,
Mona Lisa.
mausoleum is the right thing too. I think.
Yeah,
that's
it's not.
right.
You're not wrong
But-
with mausoleum. Yeah,
And like
I'm
he's
just saying
dead.
that-
We don't have. Let's quit.
But
Like, he's never gonna know we finished it.
We know that for a fact that is not true.
And they're in complete disrepair.
And I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Well, it could have a chemical reaction or something that it actually does what it does with the lime and the gold on the top.
Oh, I
what
see.
he's saying is
Alchemy or whatever.
in its purest form, it could have like harnessed the sun.
Yep.
We don't
Whatever it
we
does.
don't understand.
I think that probably has more to do with what was going on inside the pyramid.
Sure.
But I could be wrong. What do I know? I always just assumed the outside was shiny like that so you could see it from a long way away. But you're right. It might be to conduct some sort of energy. Who fucking knows? The capstone, which they can't find, those top pieces of the pyramid, that could have been some.
Those were gold, weren't they?
Well, we don't. What do we fucking know? The same people who tell us those were gold, Matt, are the same
Yeah.
people who tell you that they're mausoleums, that they're crypts, you know?
Yeah. Well, maybe the cap was the key to the whole thing.
Well, that's interesting because the guy who built the Coral Castle, he said he harnessed the power of the pyramids and he did everything from that little black box that people saw him using. So maybe it was something along the same lines. But they know, like inside the Great Pyramid of Giza.
I like how he like
I was gonna show
he
you.
ruffled through like he had like prepared like a folder. Yeah, like let me just check my notes. Let me check my murderer
I
scribbles
was
here
gonna
real quick.
draw something for you, like the pyramid.
Yeah.
It has like a thing, and then these weird little corridor things that run like all the way
Yeah,
up
I've
to
seen
the
them.
top.
Yeah.
You can't walk through them. Well, you can, but it's like insane. You know what I mean? You're bending over. No normal person would. Those aren't meant for people to walk through. It's meant for something totally different. Oh,
But if we were a lot shorter back then, couldn't you walk through it a little easier? Like if everyone was 4 feet, does that change everything?
well, that would change some of the. Which makes it even crazier that they're using those giant stones, Matt. If everybody's only 4 feet and they're lifting stones that were
No, but
100 tons.
Yes and no, but what if just like apes, we were a lot stronger too?
Yeah.
Right? Like what if as we got taller, like the Wembanyamas of the world, like we just stretch out, right?
I hear
Because
what
that
you're
could,
saying.
like we're like ants, you know what I mean? We used to be able to carry 5 times our weight, but we were a lot sturdier and
Well,
smaller.
ants can carry like 100 times.
I get
their
it, but
weight,
I'm
yeah.
not like I was just making
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
ant
gotcha.
comparison.
What I was going to say is these shafts, like the king shaft or whatever, the queen shaft that runs up the middle
Say
of
shaft
the,
one more time.
shaft,
Yeah,
running up the middle of that pyramid. Nobody walks up that. Even if you were 4 feet, it's like, it's not meant to go through in that way, you know? Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Well, I don't think we'll ever get the answers,
Oh,
unfortunately.
we might on this one.
Really? You believe you're going to get your shaft answer at some point in your life in the next 50
Here's
years?
what I think. Underneath the paw of the Sphinx
Yeah.
is a chasm. They know this for a fact. That has always been rumored to be where they were storing like not Alexandria's library, but storing secret stuff about the pyramids, and they know it's there. They're just not allowed to go into it. So one day when whatever that guy's name is in Egypt,
No, you know who's going to get in?
Iki Hadas, I don't remember his name, but
You know who's going to get in there?
who?
Bin Salman,
Who's Bin Salman?
the Saudi.
Do you think he's the most powerful man in the world?
Probably
Oh,
MBS.
that everybody goes to for advice?
No, the money guy, not the advice guy.
Oh.
Mohammed bin Salman.
That's the same thing.
Sure, okay.
That's the same thing.
The point is, he has all the money in the world. He could easily go to Egypt and be like, listen, we'll give you $100 billion as a country. You'd really fix up a lot of infrastructure. We're going in there. I could see that happening.
Well, again, so there you go. More to my points. We will find out. That exists
can't
and
do
we
it.
will get there.
That we can't do it.
And inside that paw, underneath the paw of the
You
Sphinx,
thinking the chasm is the key.
I think is the key to what the pyramids are for. It's all right there waiting for us.
Imagine if it was like fucking Capone's bunker. You just get down there and there's just
There's Jimmy Hoffa's buried underneath the paw of the Sphinx. Nothing else.
Geraldo's so bummed. Fuck.
Nothing else.
He would say though that they killed Tesla.
Yeah.
He wasn't holding back there, which is just crazy if that's true.
Well, don't you assume that they killed Tesla?
I don't even know anything about Tesla.
Oh, I listen. We know that they made
None of
his
us know
name
anything.
into mud.
Exactly. A la Oppenheimer.
A la Oppenheimer.
Have you seen it?
They made his name into mud.
That's
You know,
my
you're
answer.
you're believing Hollywood movie. Like you don't know
No,
if
I'm
that shit's
believing
true.
me growing up what I was taught in school. And the name Tesla was never mentioned in science.
What were
anything.
you taught about Oppenheimer
Nothing.
in school?
Nothing.
I was just gonna say, like, to be honest, when I watched the movie, I didn't know anything about the communist shit, period. I was just like, this guy created the bomb.
Yeah, that's all I.
So I didn't know that his name had been dragged through the mud until I saw the film.
His name got dragged through the mud. No, for real.
Yes.
I've never heard people say bad things about Oppenheimer.
Yeah, the whole thing is that he had Q level clearance to build the bomb.
Okay.
And then once he was done building the bomb, the U.S. government, there was a guy in the government that was like, he had made a slight, like he had made a comment that everyone had laughed at the guy. So this guy made it like his life's work to ruin Oppenheimer. So once he's done building the bomb, this guy makes sure that he loses his Q clearance and that like in the record, it says that he was a communist and he was sympathizing with commies. And
I swear to you,
you had never heard?
I've
I know.
never heard
Yeah,
that before.
Me neither. I
So
know.
if that's a smear campaign against somebody in history, they did a real poor job of it.
Well, yes and
Or
no.
his name
'cause-
should be mentioned in the same breath as Einstein, but it's not. You never learned about him.
Kamar's point is that this guy's genius was on the level of Einstein, and like he's saying, you only hear about that. You know, he created the bomb, and the bomb killed a lot of people.
And he said that Bhagavad Gita verse. That's the only thing you know about him.
Yeah, which is funny because again, he gets quoted with saying that, and it's actually it's a Sanskrit quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah,
Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita?
the Bhagavad Gita.
There's no way Atlantis doesn't exist.
Well, that's a weird thing. Like if you
No, it isn't. Because
Stop,
what you're
stop,
saying
no.
is at some point in time, someone said, I'm going to make up a thing called Atlantis.
Yeah.
And start telling people it existed.
yeah, what I'm saying is it's not crazy. It makes sense in this. Everything on Earth is here. It's still here.
It's Bhagavad Gita. Two
Bhagavad
different
Gita.
words.
Well, I knew it was two different
Bhagavad
words.
Gita.
Bhagavad, that's it. Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad.
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Kamar, like the earth is still the earth.
Meaning what?
Well, what I'm saying is like if 10,000 years ago you called, like Mesopotamia is a good example. We don't call it Mesopotamia anymore, do we?
No, we call it like Iran and Iraq. And
Precisely. It doesn't mean that the area
So
known as
Atlantis could be Quebec.
Precisely.
Okay,
Yes, that's all I'm saying. I'm sure Atlantis is not Quebec, but yes,
And
that's
what
a
are
great
you
example.
saying? You're saying Atlantis definitely exists because we can find it on a map?
No, more like the idea of it. Where did that come from? I mean, it's just, if it's a language thing,
It literally comes from one person.
Jesus.
Atlantis. No, it's like Socrates or one of those guys.
Socrates?
It's
Okay, well, that's too much dead air. Who
The
gives a
more
shit?
you know, the more you find out how little you know.
Yeah.
There was always a time where I'd say, if me then knew what I know now, I'd kill it.
Me then knew what I know now. Fucking Cro-Magnon man over here. Kamar, you know what? Because I host so much trivia, I've realized that like even the smartest person in the world has by and large, has a pretty narrow like skill set. I mean, not skill set, knowledge base maybe. Is that what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he doesn't care.
But what I'm trying to say is I wish I knew what I knew when I was 25 now.
No, you wish when you were 25 you knew what you know now.
No, that's what you normally say. But I'm actually, whoever that guy was way better than me at living life. Just
Yeah,
if you go back,
ignorance is
like
bliss.
that guy was killing it.
Yeah.
And I would like to know what I knew then now.
Yeah.
so sorry. It was Plato, and Plato never saw Atlantis. Plato heard about Atlantis from like his grandfather, who talked to like Pliny the Elder, who, you know what I mean? It was such a weird way that we know about this in the first place.
Like, I'm stupid. You guys, did you know that America invaded Mexico and took Texas?
Yeah. Isn't that the whole
But that's what it is. But I never knew that.
America invaded.
what's the place I'm looking for? The Alamo.
The Alamo.
Yeah. Isn't that it?
The Mexican-American War.
So
Yeah.
Texas was part of Mexico. Okay, I see, because it's right on the border.
And they went Putin on their ass.
I mean, back when they were separating countries, that's...
Wasn't California also part of Mexico?
They weren't separating, they were taking.
Well, New Mexico was probably part of Mexico, no? That would make
knows?
sense.
But yeah, to bring it back to Kat, he was talking about First Nations. And it is really a shame the way we've treated First Nations in general around the world. Had they been like
Revered.
revered and the knowledge that they may know along these other paths, if he's like...
But aren't all of us First Nations in a way?
No, I don't want to get technical like that, but just what they know, like about...
No, I'm just, don't shake your head. I'm getting real technical here. Like we're all from people that were the first people.
But our
Are we not?
traditions...
Oh, you're not First Nations to hear. though.
No, what I'm saying though is like everyone, like I get what he's saying.
Your tradition and stories are different than theirs.
Yeah, of course.
And so you're both interesting.
No, I'm not as interesting. But that's fine.
I was trying to be nice. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been squandered, but hopefully there's something, but that's a missing piece for sure. Like the Aztecs to our First Nations to Borneo or whatever.
Well,
Yeah, but
that's a weird
That's
one.
hilarious to me. Just speaking of that is like the Indians in the South America, Central America, Southern America, were all building massive fucking complexes, but not our natives up here. We were killing each other and riding horses. You know what I mean? These were the same people. They just migrated from one place to the other.
Maybe there were less stones up here.
I highly doubt that.
Well, they did migrate, but they did it almost like invisibly.
It probably, Matt, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, had to do with the ice melt.
I was just going to say winter in general.
We have so much more hidden still up here, probably under the snow.
No, but even forget that. Would you not, like, if you can't work on something year round, like if you know something's going to take 50 years to build, but then you're like, well, if we can only do it for 3-4 months of the year, it's going to take 150 years. You might not even bother.
I hear what you're saying. We're assuming that it took them that long to build it. We don't know that.
Okay.
The weirdest is the Inuit. Because one thing the Cat's saying is like First Nations, and not just one in particular, he said we're always in the right spot. They were always in a good climate. But how are those people living? Like, because you said if it's not good here, we'll just move to another place. We don't have buildings or anything. But people stayed in the Arctic and just lived in ice.
Not a lot of people, let's be fair. It's not like the populations of the Arctic are
But were they
the
all-
same as the populations of South. Well, maybe what you're saying is right, though, Kamar. Maybe however many years ago, when it wasn't so much ice up here, there are very good spots along ley lines, just like there are in Central America in the hot climates. But when the after cataclysms and things change, you get some people who want to stay in their native place, but most of them will venture to somewhere warmer.
I just don't know why you'd want to stay in the snow. Like it's because you have no knowledge of that you think the whole planet's like that. You've got it, right? And it melts a bit in the summer, but it's always snow. You have to think the whole planet is ice.
No,
or you'd move. I don't know.
Or you're
good
staying to
question.
honor your relatives. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And it's harder and harder to get people to stay to honor because it's fucking freezing. So you end up with a much smaller group of devotees who are.
No, but it's a good question. Like, what makes home home? Like, we get attached to bullshit, which makes, like when you're like, oh, I miss home. It's usually just
It's food and shelter.
no, but it's not. No, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like superfluous stuff. It's like, I miss. Like, yes, you miss your family and your friends,
and
but
I'm saying history is what makes home, to answer your question.
sure, fine.
So if you're an Inuit,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, okay, if you're an Inuit and your people 10,000 years ago had pyramids that weren't buried beneath the ice in,
He's going back to the pyramids.
I'm just saying, or whatever it is, some giant structure that your ancestors built to honor your homeland on a ley line because it's there because it's a massive energy source, you might want to stay in that place to honor your people. And even though you can't get to that pyramid anymore, there are still some diehards who are like, there is power that comes from this piece of land. And we're going to stay here and we're going to keep fucking living here, waiting for the day when that fucking ice
keep
wall
our pyramid.
melts and we get to go back to our, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm with you, Kamar. Why on fucking earth would you stay there? If you're an Inuit, why do you not just migrate a little bit down? I'm not saying you have to go to California.
Because they don't think there's any place to
No,
go.
I don't believe that at all. You're insinuating that fucking Inuit people are stupid.
No, but you forget that it could
Yeah,
be.
I did. That's
You
what
don't
I
think
did.
that they
That's
have...
why I stopped saying it.
You don't think they have origin stories of like anywhere past 4 miles away from their house?
No, but I think
Might be a little bit further than that.
I think you're forgetting too, though, that like if you're hunkered down, if the people so let's say you're born, okay, your family's Inuit, you're born way up north. They have a skill set that they teach you that's very specific to that area. So like
Be
it might
wasted in another place.
it might be
possibly.
very difficult for you to migrate, 2,000 kilometers south, where all of a sudden now you have to hunt a different set of animals.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean,
I would be very interested to talk to an elder Inuit person.
any elder indigenous person from around the world. That's what I was trying to say. Like, there's a
Is that
lot.
what
There's a
you're
lot
trying to
out
say?
there that is just. I don't know if they've all been marginalized, but like the abuse that we did to ours along the way, like making deals and fucking them over, then trying to take them away from the family.
Well, they've definitely been marginalized by us as like North Americans.
And we know that in America, they just killed them all.
well, the same way they did up here.
Well, here there's sort of an idea that we made a deal with them. It was a mutual. It worked out. It wasn't just a slaughter takeover, but it was sort of genocide in that
ours was
systemic.
but
Americans
blanketed-
actually just killed them.
I
all.
get it. Yeah. I mean, the Oklahoma land grab, if you've ever looked into it, is fucking wild. But we just blanketed it with, no pun intended, with treaties that we broke left, right, and center.
That's the deals.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then even Cortez was the one who took out the Aztecs. Like this isn't an isolated thing.
But when you look at our history, like Rockefeller history, the Aztecs, the Mayans, these were all bloodthirsty
Savages.
just like our own native people.
That's the narrative.
The story is the same fucking everywhere, man. Anywhere that's not us white people, not white people, but us, European.
It is ironic because
Whites.
we are bloodthirsty savages.
Yeah. The worst of them.
Especially you filthy Jew.
we pollute more. Had you ever heard about
I'm not even white.
they hit the moon with a rocket and it
White.
I said that with that kind of venom for you, white boy. White boy Matt. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. White boy Matt. Sorry, what, Kamar? Rocket moon? They shot
They
a
hit
rocket
the-
into the moon?
and it
Yeah. That's smart. eh?
Clanged.
Apparently it rang like a bell for 3 days.
Have you ever heard that?
No.
That's interesting, though.
Was it
Well,
on-
we've always heard that the moon is hollow. Hasn't that always been?
No. The
Wa-
moon
was it Pasulka? It was Pasulka, on Rogan, who was talking about the astronauts hearing that music in outer space.
You'll have to read the book, Joe. That one?
No,
I think so.
Pasulka was just on. She was the religious scholar alien lady.
Oh yeah, her. Yeah.
You're talking about the lady who said that
Yeah, I
Russia
remember, yeah.
and the Cold War was the whole.
She had the
alien
sultry
thing.
voice.
That's actually
Save it for the
really
trivia.
interesting stuff because that's
Save it for the trivia.
They seem to both support Elon.
okay. I wasn't sure, but it
No,
kind of
Kat
seemed
kept-
like Kat was like taking underhand
Yeah,
shots.
Kat
at-
kept being like
our
our
guy.
little friend over there
Yeah.
doing the tests on monkeys.
So you're not sure.
I don't
And
think
Joe kind of distanced himself too, where he was like, "Yeah, this guy's doing crazy stuff over there, huh? Putting implants in monkeys."
Well,
and,
it is interesting, right? Like Joe touts Elon's fucking sucks his dick till the cows come home.
whoa!
And you saw that stat that they've killed like 1,400 monkeys already just trying to do. I just made that 1,400 number.
You know the
up,
old
but
saying, you got to crack a few
I know
monkey
it's a
skulls if
rumor
you
because
want to.
I started it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you have to break a few monkey skulls to make an omelet. But like nobody talks about that shit. All this monkey killing.
Well, let me ask you, just hypothetical. You don't care
What are you gonna say?
if at the end Neuralink can cure all sorts of incurable diseases, that people can walk again, all that sort of shit. How many monkeys is it worth frying up?
I say test them on convicts.
So human.
Human trials on people who are going to death.
Okay.
On
Except the ones that are there wrongly accused.
what do you call that?
Death
Death
row.
row.
Death row. No, Kamar, like we said, you got to break a few monkey skulls to make an omelet.
True,
you
we
know?
did say that. We mentioned the monkey skulls a few moments ago. Yeah. Were you not listening?
Well, I mean, that's self-evident, Matt. Of course he wasn't
Yeah, it's
listening.
true.
It
What was I
wasn't him
thinking?
talking.
Yeah. Kamar, I like the I kind of like that because you could say it's the best. You could be like, listen, you're on death row. We can hook you up to this thing, and you can be like on a beach all day. It might not end up that way, but
Did we mention the break a few monkey skulls?
we have to put something in your anus.
Yeah.
That's
You're going to be shitting Zin for a month,
yeah.
but
Or what about you just volunteers? If there's people who say they want to go to Mars, there's someone who says, yeah, hook me up.
oh, you're right for sure. Yeah.
maybe that's the fucking thing they don't want you to know is that if you swallow one Zin, you shit out 4.
Oh, yeah. That's how they get Zen. That's how it started.
It's like Oompa Loompa mines, just
that's how it started. Yeah.
tiny little children in Russia
Yeah.
shitting out.
They just
Zyn
don't want you to know
tablets.
that's the dirty Zen secret.
It's kind of like that cat coffee.
Yeah.
You know, the coffee and the cat shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, that's why the first flavor was coffee and only coffee.
If you knew where your Zin came from,
Yeah.
you would never
Yeah.
eat one
Or
again.
you would double
Or you
down.
would love it. Yeah. It'd be a smaller sect of people. Still very popular, but smaller.
Oh, I miss monkey piss.
Are
No,
you-
coconut jizz. That's it.
Coconut jizz.
Remember Robert, California? Remember they start, so the guys in the warehouse win the lottery, and then they go and they start an energy drink.
Yeah. For
And they're-
gay people.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, we had 2 flavors, and he's like, one is coconut piss, or that's it, coconut piss, and, and he's like, don't drink it, and he takes a sip, and he's like, oh, it's light on the coconut. No, but then later on, like 15 episodes later, Robert California takes a sip of one, and he goes, I don't know why they got rid of original. Anyway, sorry, Kumar. Coconut piss.
He was talking about just constant scripture and stories, and there was one where I guess the sheep was the best, and at a time the sheep will turn to the goat. As
Oh
the
yeah, I
best.
get it. Yeah, yeah.
That was interesting.
Which could just be reverse engineered to work out, but sounds super cool. Again, there's almost like echoes of Jordan Peterson in him, and how Jordan Peterson is religious, but seems to be like level headed. in like deciphering what they said in the Bible and scripture and stuff. But as he said, there's the Emerald Tablets. There's so many other books. The Book of Enoch.
I'm just picturing Jordan Peterson doing Cat Williams stand up. It's called Death.
And it was so weird where he's like, yeah, and I can't do Cat Williams' voice, but they tried to keep the black man out of the Bible, you know? And he's like, the Book of Enoch, Joe, that was about, no, I'm pretty sure all the Bible is about black people. Everybody down there was dark skinned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, not a white
do they
person in the
mention
Bible.
any color in the Bibles?
No.
Well, I'm pretty sure in the St. John, no, the what's the newest one? The St. whatever
James.
Bible, St. James Bible. They refer to Jesus as white, and then they make all their effigies in white. Like I think it's at that point where they whitewash the whole thing, But what do I know? What do I know?
And he kept talking about how there's patterns in design because he obviously believes in God. And the best one is, and it's Total Cat Williams, is that as food goes bad, it gets better.
Oh, that is interesting.
It was super interesting.
But wait, we'll come back to that food in a sec. Let's just go back to the goat for a sec, okay? Because as he was saying that, so then you have Baphomet, right? Who's the goat god.
Yeah.
Transgender.
All
Transgendered.
No, that's what he said.
Yes, I know. The way you were
all
like,
mixed
transgendered.
in with the devil. Yeah. And then you hear the stories about the Garden of Eden and how the snake was actually knowledge, and they flipped the whole script around to make it seem like the snake was the bad guy, and now they have the eagle as the good guy and the snake as the bad guy, but really it's reversed. I mean, that just seems like another Rockefeller whitewash on history. You know what I'm saying? And now we think the snake is bad, and we think the what was
Eagle.
Kat talking about? No, not the eagle. Kat was talking about the goat. Just all these important idols or whatever you want to call them, and our history of it in the last 100 years is totally wrong, just based on like a spin that's somebody, I don't want to name any names, Rockefeller wanted to put on it,
I don't want to name any names. What else you got, Kumar?
And then you start like Oppenheimer, Einstein, who it turns out is a fraud, just all these guys and all this history we know is a total fucking scam.
It's a farce. It's a goddamn farce.
It really is a farce. All these people and all these stories that we've been told. Napoleon was only 5 foot. He was a little pussy, like he was a normal sized guy who wasn't a pussy at all. No, I'm just saying, like
Napoleon was a 5-foot pussy. That's the story we've been told.
Everything they tell us is not necessarily a lie, but like definitely warped to fit their story better,
Napoleon was a 5-foot pussy. Oh, that's great. No, you're right. Yeah, man. Rockefellers.
And then every year that goes by, not every year, but when I was a kid, Napoleon was a 5-foot pussy. And 40 years later, which really isn't that much time, he's fucking Joaquin Phoenix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he's fucking Joaquin Phoenix. Next thing you know, this guy's fucking Joaquin Phoenix.
He's a normal sized guy. Back to our whole.
But how do we know that?
Back to our whole. What's it called? Christopher Columbus. Like for our whole life, that was the guy. He was amazing. And in the past 10 years, we find out that was a
real
lie
piece of shit,
too.
yeah. You're right.
We won't be alive to see most of this stuff because 100 years just isn't enough time. Mm-hmm. But if you live 200 years,
yeah, you start to really see through
you start to see
peel
through the
back
veil.
curtain,
and maybe that's why we can only live 100 years. Because if they let us live the amount of time we were supposed to live,
you'd start to see
you'd
the whole
see
picture.
all the shams. They can't hide things over 100 years. They can't hide things more than like 2 generations, No, I'm being serious here. Like
I'm shaking my head saying yes.
That totally makes sense. So let's put phthalates into everything. Let's make sure people get hooked on things that are going to kill them.
Like phonics.
Well, phonics is a huge problem. I was thinking more like tobacco.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Okay. Fair
Or
enough.
drugs or whatever. Let's make sure that everybody dies long before. Let's ban all the things that could keep them alive. The stem cells, the this, the that, all the things Joe Rogan wants to do, but has to go to Panama to do them. Imagine that was the case. It's all to make sure that we can't see 2 generations or 3 generations from now.
Big
And then,
life
and then we
holding us
have to
down.
trust history, right? And we know that they fuck history up. But if you could go and talk to your great great grandmother and ask her how shit really was, you'd probably get the real story. Dude, I just busted something wide open here, man.
Come on. How much more you got?
If before, like back to Oppenheimer, how would people say the world could be ending?
What do you mean?
I remember for sure in the 80s, it was Russia, America.
Cold War, yeah.
Movies were like the whole world could blow up.
Yeah.
But before Oppenheimer,
What was the
could
fear
humans
of-
think was the biggest consequence?
It was war. It
Well,
was a
no, it
world
would have been
war.
religious people that the what's it
Rapture.
called? Exactly. That would be the end of the world would be that. Because I think people have always said the end of the world or things are going to get bad. I was working with some guy who was like 50 years old. No, he was older than that. He was old. But
Of course, like, wait, I'm 50.
he's like, "Dude, I can't believe I have grandchildren. They're not going to see the end of the world. But I think this is a constant thing because especially once you get older and you don't understand the pop culture, the social media, everything, everyone always thinks, oh, well, we're doomed. And it's just a cycle and the paradox of life that you never get to know you were wrong. And it keeps chucking and things get better. And every time people are like, this, when a remote control, everyone's going to give it fat or whatever.
What was the food thing?
The food thing was just as it gets bad, it gets better.
I was thinking about. So what was he saying about that?
that's-
though?
No, he was
That's
like
an
milk goes
intelligent
bad.
design.
Milk goes bad. It becomes cheese.
Yeah.
Grapes go bad. They become raisins.
Right.
He was saying, this.
You go bad and you must become something better.
The potato goes bad, it makes vodka.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
all these
everything
libations,
goes bad and
everything
becomes
is-
something good. Because even mold is good, right?
In an abundance.
Depends.
In an abundance that you don't need anything. But we decide to commercialize it somewhere along the line. And he also said that
Sorry, in an abundance that you don't need anything? What does that mean?
No, he was saying we have so much shit that stuff went bad, and through that stuff going bad. But that's not really what it was. I mean, we had no refrigeration forever.
some booze is a happy mistake.
Booze is definitely a happy mistake. Booze came along like
Mushrooms.
thousands of years ago.
I would imagine most of those things are just happy mistakes.
Yes.
You leave your milk out too long and you end up with cheese. You leave the grapes out and you end up with raisins.
Or they were also designed
But-
to be found.
But lots of things go bad and then they're no good.
Fish.
Yeah.
So I'm
But fish, you can dry it on salt.
no, but I'm saying not every
Yes.
take a
you're
fruit.
correct.
Not every fruit you leave out.
All fruit could be alcohol.
All fruit can be alcohol. Interesting.
That's true.
Interesting.
Also, even then, Simon, like if you sun dry most fruits, it
Yeah,
it
you can turn
stays
them
a
into
little
something.
longer,
No,
yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Just two things.
Go on.
He said the Smurfs was designed to break up the family, to give the idea of kids of people not having a parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't looked into it.
I am all for conspiracies.
That one's crazy as
That
shit.
one is just so silly. Why the Smurfs? The Smurfs never. I watched it avidly. I'm a Smurf aficionado. At no point did I ever think to myself, these guys are so lucky they don't have parents. They had Papa Smurf. He was the parent.
That's true.
Yeah, and so Papa Smurf would probably be the government.
And what did he say about Gargamel?
Papa Smurf. would be the
Gargamel
government.
made
Smurfette.
Smurfette.
So that
So he
seems
could
like a
fuck.
god type thing to me, right? Like the Smurfs would be like what do you call that? A microcosm of religion. I could see that, but I don't get the no parents thing.
It's just the weird thing that the family unit. Now I'm going to sound like a Nazi or whatever, has eroded.
The family unit has eroded.
I don't know if I fully agree with that.
All your friends have multiple brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Everyone does.
Okay.
And now people just have one kid. People are still having big families, but it's not common. It was common,
Well,
common.
Because it's so much more expensive to raise your children.
To someone who's rich, it's not.
Well, but you'll see, rich people usually have big families.
But poor people probably have more families. Doesn't matter. To have a kid, you figure it out. Most people figure it out.
I think
it's
just,
an amazing
I think
thing.
it flipped. It used to be that poor people had all the children, and now it's rich people have all the children.
I think it's still poor
No
people
one's
having all
having
the
children is the point. There's a big problem in South Korea.
Yes, and Japan. There's a lot of
Like,
countries.
they're disappearing. Like the whole point at the end of the day of us is to. I liked how he said it's the ultimate creator. If you want to be a creator, create another person. Like that's creating. It's a thing to do.
It's the
the thing to
it's
do.
the one creation that, like, when you make art the way you want it. It's the one creation where you don't have a choice of how it turns
You have
out.
no control,
No,
yeah.
it is
It's true,
interesting.
yeah.
It's like
You just put it in the oven and hope that-
Is that the ultimate form of creation? To me, it's not. The ultimate form of creation is like you're able to make it the way you want. If you could make your child any way
disagree
you
with you.
wanted, that's the ultimate form of creation.
No, because what he's saying is that you, like, listen, no matter what you make on this earth, that's not true. Whatever you make art wise is never gonna, it's probably not gonna change the world. You could have a kid that creates,
Well, that's not true, Matt. If you're a really good artist, you could make art that changes the world, you know? And who's to say that, like, if you're
not like if your kid created the cure for cancer,
If
that's
you're-
gonna change the world.
if
Your
you're,
art's never gonna do that.
if you're an amazing artist,
Yeah. He's sinned out.
anyways, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
But if you have a mainstream media that's telling you every day panicking, that also is another reason why I say, well, I'm not going to have a kid. It's all these little things.
But it's always been like that, Kamar. Like, think about the Cold War. Those were always reasons for people not to have kids, and yet people kept having kids.
No, I don't think so. Because I think it's also combined with like the feminist movement. That changed the family unit too. That was like the first.
Well, birth control probably changed the family.
Those are one of
unit
the
a lot.
same.
Like, as soon as you had the ability. Sorry,
these-
those are the same?
No, it's all about
feminism
money.
and birth control.
It's
right?
all
they
about
are
money,
not the
Kamar.
same.
No, they happen
A
at the same
condom
time.
is birth oh, I see.
No, it's all about money. Listen, after World War II,
I meant by birth control the pill.
during World War II, women went to work because there were no men. Mm-hmm. And then when the men came back, the women wanted to stay at work. And then everything got super expensive. So you had to have two incomes if you wanted to have multiple kids.
Unless you were a baseball player.
Yeah, like, look, my grandparents, they had 6 kids. My grandmother stayed at home and raised the 6 kids, and my grandfather worked, and that worked. But I don't know if that works anymore. I don't know.
It
know,
doesn't
it's-
because you need both parents
Yeah.
working to afford a mortgage.
Because the system has made it.
Yeah, but I don't know that that kills the family fucking... Like, dude, I'll give you this is a weird anecdotal fucking... The guy that put the windows in here, I remember he was like, yeah, I'm trying to rush to finish this because if I finish it today, I'll take tomorrow off, which is Friday. I want to take my kids to the lake. And I was like, oh, that's nice. How many kids do you have? And he was like, I have 6. Now, again, this guy, just anecdotal evidence, but like this guy just puts in windows. He's a window. I'm sure he makes great money, but he's got 6 kids. Like, I don't think the family unit it's not like it used to be, but our parents used to beat the shit out of us.
We'll get into that in the next one. But there can't be anything better than having a grandchild. Like, that just must be an amazing feeling. Well, no, it's your creation's creation.
Yeah,
It's
that
just-
is pretty cool,
It's just gotta be a cool
Yeah.
feeling. And even if you have 6 kids, 2 of them are gonna be fucking delinquents, one of them's gonna be a doc, whatever they are. One day you have 6 like friends and adults. And you can't
From your kids.
Yeah, and you can't just fast track that. If you had $1 billion, like, oh, I want to have 4 kids, that like it's just a different path experience, which I feel has been discouraged, where it should still be like a main goal for most people. Which going to making people, it's so stupid to think about. You think one day they're going to breed people or something? How long we've been breeding dogs? Like, all that science and stuff has got to be just able to switch over to breed people, right? The knowledge
He's talking about like eugenics and
the knowledge that they've acquired, breeding dogs, cloning dogs, has got to be a
it's called
foundation.
eugenics. It's why
for
everyone
the next step of breeding people and modifying.
Yeah,
them.
what we do is we start a fire, you and me, Matt. He keeps coming close. We give him table scraps.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's trainable.
Kamar, they did this in Sweden. It's called eugenics, and that's why everyone there is beautiful. Selective breeding.
And this should not be such a stretch then to have computer chips in the brain and whatever. That's the one thing I took away from Kat. He wasn't like things have to be stopped. He's like it's all as it was foretold.
That seems like a
He's
stretch
rolling with
to
it.
me.
What?
The brain chips. You see, breeding dogs, there's no magic there. You know what I mean? Like they weren't fucking super smart people who were doing that. It was just they bred dogs because they learned how to do it and did it probably out of necessity.
But who were they dumb people that cloned the sheep? Are they dumb people that
No.
clone dogs now?
No.
So
So
it's not a stretch to say someone somewhere knows how to clone a person.
yeah, but what does that even? Well, we can't spend too much time on this. We gotta wrap this up.
That was it.
Okay. I give it a 3. It could have been a 5. It should have been a 5. It can't get more than a 3.
I'll
for
give
me.
it a 3.5, but I
Yeah,
can
'cause
totally understand.
Well, it hit all your.
why.
Listen, if they had talked about a load of stuff that I was super interested
If
in,
they
I could,
had spent the whole time talking about fighting, I would have given it a 1.
oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be something I was interested in. But if I'm there to hear about Cat Williams, I'm enraged.
yeah, as I was.
I give it a 4.
Enraged.
And there was no cancel culture. There was no COVID. There was no war in Ukraine. There was none of that stuff.
Yep, amazing. If it was anyone but Cat Williams.
Well, no, and the status was very interesting as well.
They're both the same height.
There was no cat happy to be there, overwhelmed, like he had a presence. And, Joe fell in love with him.
No, it all felt very odd to me.
Yeah, we got to move on. You can give this woman 20 minutes.
Because you just want Goss and Dietz. 2109,
Goss and
Abigail
Dietz.
Schreier.
Yes, that's what I want, Kamar. That's why I listen to everything I listen to and watch everything I watch is for Dietz and Goss.
Gender affirming care
This is what he does.
yeah, I know.
is another one of those like dressing up, collateral damage.
Are you just saying hot button words
Yeah,
now?
I don't even.
Gender affirming care is what it's called.
What
That's what
is-
they're fighting for. That's cutting off a penis
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay.
Like a sex change. Just call it what it is. Gender affirming care makes it seem like it's a compassionate procedure that it sounds positive.
Yeah.
And it is neither negative or positive.
Okay.
That just makes something suspect when
If
they
it-
dress it up like that.
If it didn't become
Planned Parenthood is abortions, but you don't get that from that name. You know what I mean? It's to whitewash it. It's to candy coat it, whatever you want to call it.
if it didn't become such a trend,
Yeah.
is gender reassignment surgery bad? Like we all agree that there are some people who really truly
No,
feel
we don't
like
care.
they're
We just
born
care
in
about
the-
it for children.
Okay.
I think that's the issue. We don't care what adults do.
So
we live in
yeah.
a free country. If you want to cut your dick off once you're 18, go nuts.
Please, and we'll pay for it. Last time she was on, she was talking about so many girls
Clicking up.
clicking and changing over. It was more about the gender thing. This one wasn't about gender. It was just about therapy and whether we're over therapized.
Yeah. She found a new windmill to rage against.
Did you guys ever go to therapy?
I've been to a psychiatrist.
I went, and I always felt like I was just trying to outsmart the guy.
Well, my problem was I went as a kid
Yeah.
and I lied to them.
Yeah,
If you're
just gonna say.
if you're
100%.
lying to your
You just
psychiatrist,
fuck with them.
what is the point?
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
You're wasting your time and their time.
And you're whoever's paying for it.
But
money.
that was the whole thing. It was my parents who sent me. I didn't want to go there. If I went to a therapist now, it would be because I wanted to go,
And it
I
would be
would,
your hard-earned money.
and I would tell them
Yeah.
the truth. Well, I wouldn't. I would go to a psychologist so that the government paid
Sure.
for it. It's just the psychiatrist they won't pay for, which is so fucking crazy. The guy who can dispense the drugs to you,
Yeah.
the government won't
Yeah.
cover, but the one who will just talk to you, the government will cover.
And it's not free healthcare all of a sudden. That's the other weird thing.
No, that's the biggest problem with therapy is like you have to be the one who's willing to be open and change, or else none of it matters. Like if you're just going to
You
go in
got to
there,
pay to do the work.
yeah, if you're just going to go in there and bullshit the person,
And even if you just to double down on your thing, even if you are going there and you want to be helped, the second you tell one lie, the therapist doesn't know that.
Yep.
So they're just
and
assuming
they just got to
what
take
the-
you at your word.
and that could change everything. That one lie,
Yeah.
even though you're telling the truth about everything else.
Yeah.
It's a very tough thing. Like it really is. Even if you're, because I'm saying you could be lying to yourself, Matt.
Of course, yeah.
If you go in there and, deep down inside, Matt, I mean, this is pretty close to home, but he's gay and he doesn't tell anybody. And then he's in there lying
me.
to the therapist about being gay, but telling the truth about everything else. The rape, the this, the that,
I've been gay raped so many times. I know Kamar's just looking, going,
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah.
I can't. Well, because he's not listening to you because he's nodding. And
The other problem was that, the people who work on homelessness don't want to get rid of homelessness because they get rid of their job. Therapists would have living off their patients. So there is a possibility that they could just keep doing it, and not to detriment, but for no reason.
do you really believe that the people who are working to end homelessness don't want to end homelessness because they're going to lose their job?
No, I've said this a million times.
I don't believe that for a second.
I said this. I said
No,
this.
they fail at their job to get more money.
I don't believe that.
Simon, I said this before. Think about it. If they hired you tomorrow to fix the homeless problem in San Francisco, and in a year you did it, do you not think you're going to get a job in every other city fixing the homeless problem? Do you not think you're going to have?
Or forget even the homeless problem. Matt, let's say they hire you to end racism.
Yeah.
Okay? That's your job. You're the racism czar. You go in there and in 2 years you end racism. Do you not think they're then going to say, hey, why
guy
don't you
can solve a
tackle
lot of
this
problems. Yeah,
problem?
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Nothing to do with racism, but you've proven yourself to be a really good worker. Like, I don't buy that.
Dude, if
I
you
know
fix-
that guy Marcus Brown talked about that, but I don't buy it.
If you fixed homelessness in San Francisco, you would immediately become a member of Congress. They would vote you in unanimously.
It's just a problem that can't be fixed.
I know.
I'm not saying that.
It's just maintained, and that's what
I'm
they do.
not saying that there aren't people who milk their job. I'm saying the most people who are working to end homelessness are probably good people who are trying to end homelessness. That's what I'm getting.
That's what you hope.
I'm not saying, Kamar, there could be a system in place that makes ending homelessness difficult, whereas these people are still trying.
Or impossible.
Sure, yeah.
That I can dig that. And that's the system that's set up that way to always be able to pay that money in. That's different.
Yeah.
That's different than like Joe Schmo going to work and like, I'm just going to play video games all day because I got to make sure that nobody gets homes today.
Yeah. Like just because you're fighting an uphill battle doesn't mean you're not fighting it.
What about prisons not wanting weed to be legalized because they
Yeah.
would be getting people?
No, that's different.
Oh, whoa, hold on. That's a perfect example. That's the prison guard union. That doesn't mean that everybody who works in the correctional facility doesn't want to make people better.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, the union's trying to protect jobs. That's the union's job, isn't it?
Kind of like the shareholders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not impossible that a therapist could talk to someone and said, "Oh, you're fine," but still talk to them
100%.
and almost take advantage of the thing.
For sure,
come on.
there are definitely crooked therapists out there.
100%.
There's no doubt about
Well,
that.
she mentioned there was a therapist that got her patient to kill her fucking
No,
husband.
Joe mentioned that.
I think she was aware of it. Anyway, so Joe, that's crazy.
Again, yes, it's totally crazy, but you get teachers who convince their students to kill their husband. That shit happens. Positions of power use power.
You know what's hilarious?
That's what they do.
Is he strikes me as the kind of person that if his fucking psychiatrist is like super hot and sultry, would totally kill her husband.
I could believe that.
He's talking about you.
Yeah. Who's not listening? There was no. It's strange that there's no warnings about social media and stuff, but everything else that we
Yeah.
make sure, like, it always bugs you on a show. It says this may contain smoking. just that's a warning in itself. But all the social media is somewhat detrimental. Children's mental health is declining.
You know what's interesting, Kamar, is that's the only warning that I actually like. Cursing in a movie has never made me leave the movie and be like, I want to go curse. But when you see someone smoke a cigarette in a movie, you're like, God damn it, I want a cigarette. To this day.
Not anymore.
You mean, I was just going to say, yeah, he leans over. No, I
Farts
Yeah.
and reaches into his asshole.
I think that, I don't know. Yeah. No, you're right. There's warnings on everything. Yeah. We should also tax the social media companies
mean,
because they're a
we've-
detriment to our health, as you're mentioning.
We've been through
to
this
the
a
tax.
million times. I've raged about this a million times. Like nobody is monitoring these fucking social media companies. Not only that, they're touting them.
I wasn't even going that far. I was just say warning, like
Well,
public PSAs about social media.
warning
But
is,
Kamar-
warning is the first step. And then from warning, you get like now you can't sell cigarettes. They have to be behind you can't see the cigarette pack. Maybe social media should be the same thing. They can't advertise social media.
And the
on-
dead body on the cigarette pack doesn't stop you from smoking. And that's the point of a warning. It's not actual
But you're
to
wrong.
do anything. I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, just if you look at the numbers of people that smoke now versus 10 versus 20 versus 30 years ago, it's gone down substantially. So in a way, you're actually wrong. It has.
Well, it's because most people are using
No,
nicotine.
he pulls a
suppositories.
cigarette out of his pack with a dead person and smokes it. It's not stopping him from smoking. I'm sure over time
Yeah.
it makes it less popular.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, perfect. So they should be doing that with social media.
We agree.
And it won't happen in the next 5 years, but 15 years from now, instead of us all being mindless automatons with fucking chips in our head, we'll be normal people who watch social media with a warning.
we agree.
I mean, the problem, listen, I know social media is a completely different beast, but like, we grew up in the 90s, pre-social media, and every time a kid like took his own life, they would always point to music. You remember that? You remember that period in the 90s where like a kid would die and they'd
was
be like,
like the
he listened
satanic
he listened to a
panic,
lot
yeah.
of Marilyn Manson or he listened to a lot of
Yeah,
Nirvana.
what's your point?
My point was that throughout history, if you look back over the last 50, 60 years, they've always, like, anytime a kid has died, they've always tried to scapegoat something. And I understand that social media is a completely different beast than
Well,
you.
I was going to say every other time, Matt, they were hyping up something that wasn't true. But this time, this is totally different.
No, and that's why I said I understand it's different, but I'm just saying we also do this thing where like, and I know the kids aren't all right, but like we always grew up and like, oh, the kids, and we grew up fine by and large.
Because
when I was- there
we're
was-
the last of the latchkey kids.
Probably, yes. Listen, there's a lot of, I don't think
we
it's
grew up how what we think is fine, as we define it's fine. Who knows what for fine or some's more fine, but
No, but it is because like these kids, listen, when she was talking about like them having menu anxiety, like I see this shit out in the world. Like I see this week at trivia, there was a group of kids in the back. There was two separate groups, all of them young. One group was super woke. Dude, the other group, I don't think any of these 6 kids said 10 words to each other all night. And I was
they're on
looking,
their phones.
not even on their phones. They all looked very nervous. They all looked like no one wanted to say anything to offend anyone. And like I said, the other table was super woke. This girl kept making comments about like woke shit. And so these kids are like, well, I don't want to offend her and we don't want to offend any. I don't know. It's not a good way to grow up. Like we grew up where you could say whatever the fuck you wanted. In fact, if a friend of yours wasn't breaking your balls constantly, they probably weren't a great friend of yours. Like I can say whatever I want to Simon. And he's probably not going to be that offended. He's probably not going to storm out of here. Like I called him a filthy Jew twice last week. He sat here and laughed. You know what I mean? These like
I mean, it's expected from you. That's what anti-Semites do. They say bad things about Jewish people. I mean,
but you get my point.
Yeah,
like
I get your
you're
point.
supposed to like it's like she was mentioning like when you grow up, like family is a good example. Like, dude, my family, there's no one that's quicker to break your balls than my family. I grew up in that shit. There was nothing was off limits. Like if you fucked up, everyone was going to mention it. Everyone was going to ride you for it for years and years. I don't know. It just creates a thicker skin. These kids are fucking afraid of everything.
Matt's mom still introduces him as Toilet Boy.
There you go.
And she brings it back to blame it all to something that we used to lament is like everyone gets a trophy, the elimination of Canada Fitness, all these things that were steamed competitive, that would isolate people, that slowly sort of went away to be a more supportive society, and it's actually seemed to be detrimental. Like Brett was talking about his kid. Like I said, when he's a bit older, he can roll with me. But you see these parents wanting their kids to get in trouble. Like go break a window or something. Like do something to, because they feel so, I don't even know how to describe it because he's not my son, but he just wants him to be like, and a friend of ours went away when we were all getting in trouble for like 10 days, a thing called Outer Limits or something. It was just going canoeing in the woods with a bunch of kids, maybe one counselor, Outward Bounds, that was called.
Yeah.
But that sort of experience,
The rape camp, is that what you're talking about?
rape camp, good too. Let them go get raped and deal with it. And don't talk about it with a therapist because some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
got to lie about some things.
you got to take the grain of salt back.
Spitting out.
I haven't because I
Dude,
don't
listen, I have
kids.
my brother, my half brother on my mom's side is 10 years younger than me, exactly 10 years younger than me. So, which means he was born in 93. Dude,
And he's the socially awkward one you're talking about?
yeah, pretty sure he's never gotten laid.
Yeah.
Like as never, like he lived away from my mom's. Keep in mind, this kid's 31 now. He's lived away from home. He's lived away from home for like maybe 8 months when he went to Algonquin and they made him live on campus. But like, yeah. And I mean, dude, I feel bad for the kid, but he's had no experiences. Like he's 31
And
he's,
that was he had a normal upbringing.
yeah.
Like COVID fucked these kids up so bad.
I'm sure
Kids
it
who
wasn't
were
good
in
for them.
school missing 2 years
It's
of
a-
school
in the most
no matter
formative years of your
what
life.
years those are, that fucking sucks, man. That is a huge part of like I mean my son's not normal. But the thing that fucked him up the most in school was missing those 2 years, 100%. Because they come out to go now to university and they haven't even done the two most important
Oh, yeah, I
years
guess
of
it doesn't
high
matter what
school,
year
like,
it is.
Anyways. Well, it does. It makes a difference depending on where you're at, but
And-
losing those 2 years. for
And there's
them
that
is
weird
crazy.
thing where there's something positive about them that we don't have.
What's that?
I
haven't found it yet.
I don't know. I'm sure there's something because I remember my brother's 12 years younger than me, and for sure there was a period where I couldn't talk to him. It was just awkward conversation, and then I think when he turned 20 or something, I spent time together. We got to know each other, but it was always just surprised when he used words and stuff. Like when kids say cool words, like the Riz is going around and stuff. It's so. Is there one kid dealing cool words to say, or is it all just from songs? Like how it circulates to be vernacular and dies? Because I don't know, it'd be like groovy or tubular or rad. There's
Yeah, stuff comes and goes.
sayings that comes and goes, and some of them don't come back. And now, I mean, the one that seems here to stay is "Let's Go," because that's just untouchable. She says there's an issue with therapists being overwhelming towards conversions. Like if a kid comes in and says something, it isn't like, well, are you sure? It's like, okay, great. Good thing you're here. Here's the path we go. Where it shouldn't be like that. Like someone was showing a woman who said, my eldest and my youngest are transgender. I said, what are the odds of that?
0.
And it is very, very,
Unless it's passed on through genetics.
if that is.
I'm being serious. Maybe that's something we don't understand yet. You know what I mean?
That's an if. We don't know. Gender dysphoria is more common in men, and she doesn't believe in PTSD.
No, she does believe in PTSD.
No, she does not. She was saying it was a thing that, like, it's almost a contagion.
She said sometimes that was the case. I don't think she definitely said PTSD is a thing, but a lot of people will think that they get PTSD and come back.
I think her point was she believes in it, but she doesn't believe it should be something that we talk about or mention, because she was saying, like, you know, Israeli soldiers, for example, versus American soldiers, when they come back, I can't remember what the difference
Well, I
was.
mean, I feel that's different too, because if everybody in your country goes to war, is in the military,
Yeah.
you're bred differently than,
We're all in this together.
well, I don't know. The people who are choosing to go to the military, I think I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
I think what she said is only a percentage of people in the war actually fought, but more had PTSD. Which just seems it might be a contagion. But like say in Kings of the Air or whatever that is, you know, the guy gets trapped underneath in the plane and the guy tries to save him and he can't, so he dies. Like you think that guy would have PTSD from that or something.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, if you watch your friend get his limbs blown off.
But I mean, at the same time,
Yeah.
you could just be a guy and your whole platoon gets killed. You weren't out with them. You would then also have, you know what I mean? There's something,
Trauma.
I don't think you can diminish somebody's trauma depending on
You can't diminish anyone's
how
trauma because
close
it's their
they
trauma.
were to the accident. You know
You
what
can't
I mean?
because it's their trauma. Joe suggested she debate a therapist, and I think that'd be all right to be interesting. The pushback.
I
is-
think this should be your last time ever on the podcast. But that's just me.
No, that's
Let's
it. We're
done.
done.
We're done.
No.
We're done. Yeah, we're
Joe
done.
says
Nope.
he did not know sugar cereal was bad for him.
I know.
I
he-
didn't know sugar cereal was bad for
Well,
you.
you were retarded then. Everyone knew it was bad for you.
How did you not know that starting your day off
Pink
with a
and
fucking
blue
heinous amount of
Fruit Loops?
sugar was?
Like
Just it was breakfast cereal.
Rice
It just-
Krispies
It
and
wasn't like
Shreddies.
eating candy. You know that
Really?
that was the. This kid's a little kid knowing that sugar's bad for you. Fuck you.
Oh, shots
well,
fired.
My stepfather was a dentist, so I was told it was bad for me.
Okay, well,
But you could tell it wasn't good. You could tell it was junk food.
it was breakfast.
Did
cereal.
you eat sugar cereal?
Fuck yeah.
He's
I
much.
didn't.
Old,
I
he's
never.
much.
I never had
old- or
sugar cereal.
younger, So
The closest thing to sugar cereal to me was Life. That felt like we were having a party.
I loved life.
I love Life, and I'm sure it had the most sugar in it.
Cinnamon
But
toast
anything
crunch, frosted flakes, honey nut
see,
Cheerios.
I never ate any
Oh,
of that.
I
stuff.
never ate any of those
Sorry,
Captain Crunch.
sorry.
I wondered what those children were like.
Let's back up. We had a lot of like honey nut Cheerios, the sugar cereals, but weren't.
Touted as such.
Kamar,
They-
my
they
mom would
weren't
buy like
Frosted
6 boxes of
Flakes, you know?
cereal.
No.
She'd buy like 6 boxes of cereal, and the next day, 3 of them would be dusted. Like I'd eat like 4 bowls of cereal at night before going to
Cocoa
bed.
Puffs, like
I didn't like
there's
Cocoa Puffs.
but
No.
No, I hated anything.
I never
that
had the
turned all
option to
around.
dislike any of these cereals because I didn't get them because
Yeah,
we
'cause-
knew
yeah.
they were bad for you.
But one of my favorite things to do was to take like Shreddies or Special K or anything that didn't have sugar
And then just
on them.
pour sugar all
no,
over it.
no,
Oh.
quick.
Oh,
Chocolate
interesting.
milk. So
Oh,
I turned it
gross.
into my own chocolate cereal.
I hate
it's
that.
actually really good. Try
Oh,
it
no,
sometime.
never
yeah.
gonna happen.
What do you like chocolate milk?
I guess, yeah.
Do you like cereal? This is a no-brainer.
I haven't had cereal
man.
in years.
that was one of the biggest game
You
changers
haven't had
ever.
cereal in years?
years.
I eat probably
like a decade.
10 bowls of cereal a week.
I hate milk.
There was a period.
It's only good in cereal.
You only knew Quick
What do you mean?
as a syrup,
I didn't use syrup.
No, we had
I
the
used
powder.
Yeah.
but that was
the syrup was like a fuck. That was a rich person's
that's a
thing.
change of the
If you went to somebody's house and they had strawberry syrup, you knew their parents were millionaires.
that was a paradigm shift.
What, the powder to the syrup?
The powder to the syrup because it was impossible to actually mix all the powder all the way.
Yeah, because the
You know, those
powder
little
was like
crusties.
that. It was like
My grandmother,
If you put it after, it would mix. If you put it on, it would clump up.
my
Yeah.
grandmother taught me the perfect way to make
Make a little
chocolate
slurry at
milk.
the bottom
You
first.
put a little bit of milk in, you mix it all together, it becomes the liquid.
Yeah.
And then you slowly add the milk in as you stir.
Yeah, again,
That's
this
too
is-
much work for
Well, no,
chocolate.
no,
No,
this
it's the ritual.
It's got to be handed down by generations.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I give this one a 2.
The healthy bird leaves the nest. I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 2.25.
I just don't feel like there was anything really new for her to. I don't know.
She
I
said a
guess get her
couple of
book.
interesting
Sure,
things,
Get her
but
book.
for the most part, it was just.
I mean,
a
we
lot
already
of-
agreed with her. It's like we're all in agreement. So whatever.
Social media is bad for us.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We're probably going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back. Back in time. Thank you so much to BetterHelp. Kamar, can we get a name and a Can we get a name and a number?
2110 Fahim Anwar. 4th time on the show.
Is that 4 times too many?
Here it comes. No, he's going to ask a question. Go ahead, ask it.
Did you ever develop photographs?
No.
They were talking about putting, I don't know how they do it on metal or something,
Yeah.
but with photographs, you used to have film in the camera,
Yeah.
and then you'd flash light on it through the lens, and then it'd be burned into the film, and you have to go to a dark room
Yeah.
and add chemicals to it.
Yeah.
And that takes away everything that wasn't burned by the light,
Yeah.
and that makes the negative.
Okay.
And then you have to put the negative in a light that shoots down on a piece of paper that has whatever chemicals on it.
I have no idea.
And then you do the exact same thing, and then you set it. I took photography.
Did you? At Glebe?
No, at military school.
Interesting.
Again, yeah. But that was like a total, Kodak was a huge company.
I think they still are.
I don't think they are. Like Fujifilm, like they were
What do you think
big
Kodak
companies.
is making now?
They
Cameras?
still make film.
They don't make film.
Digital cameras.
They still make film, I'm telling you. I know they're not as big a company for sure, but
But there just used to be commercials all the time for cameras. There's still like the Rebels or the high end SLR or whatever. Those are still
now it's
being made.
now it's mirrorless is now the thing.
But it used to be such a big industry, film and cameras.
They make most of their money selling.
Mark, cameras is still a fucking huge industry.
They sell most of their film to the film industry.
Yeah.
It's changed.
I'm just telling you how they're selling so much film
Yeah, still a big industry.
But
to
digital,
the film industry,
Yes, that's a massive
like
industry.
to movies.
Yes.
I'm
yeah.
just saying it's not selling people who are still using click cameras. That's
Yeah, I
keeping
realize
them in
that.
business.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
they're still in business, but
They've pivoted.
they had to pivot. They
Pivot.
had to pivot because of digital.
Yeah, of course.
photography,
Yeah.
of course.
But the camera industry is still massive, just so you know that. You kind of like shrugged there.
The
Well,
camera
no, it's a
industry is
digital
massive.
camera industry. It's
Yeah.
massive. Yes, agreed.
But the personal camera used to be, there was a thing called the Kodak disc. You're going to get it with a Kodak disc, and it was supposed to be this fast shutter camera that had a different film so you could put more pictures on it. But you still had to take it and get developed. But at the time,
Yeah.
it felt like crazy technology that only rich people had.
I imagine that little cameras, like I'm sure people still use the ones with the zooms and stuff, but just normal little cameras, like why is anybody bothering when your phone is as good as the camera you're
Or they're
gonna buy?
competing with it. They still make them. But it used to be.
Simon, the thing is, most people don't print anything they take on their camera. Whereas if you got like, that's why most people but they still sell disposable cameras because people you'll actually get those printed. It's like, it's going to force you. You can't even see the work you did unless you go and get it. No?
I don't, yeah, okay.
But what I'm saying is like most people, the reason that like people still buy the occasional roll of film or a disposable camera is for what I just said, because you've never printed.
No, I'm saying why are people, not those, I get why people buy those. Why are people buying a small digital camera when your phone has a camera that is small and digital? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's certain small digital cameras where you still have a lot more control over certain aspect. There's certain things, but yes, you're
And you
right.
could-
For the most part,
yeah.
that part of the
Yeah.
camera industry
Yeah, has
disappeared.
shifted, yeah.
The big ones,
Yeah.
the ones that are very powerful.
They take glass, yes. Anything that listen, the lens is the whole key to photography.
So you could still, people would still buy one of those cameras. It's now digital, but with a better camera than even your phone.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying the amount of people who are going to do that is very slim now when
We are agreeing.
you're already
Yeah.
paying for
We
your
are
phone.
I agree. Listen, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, like you could shoot a major motion picture on that thing. If you bought a gimbal, like you could buy.
It has been done.
Probably, yeah. I'm just saying, like
There was a movie that's made with an iPhone.
yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Go on.
This prick.
Photography.
He gets
And then he clicked photography.
he gets stuck.
Well, no, I just have right
I
here
was
how
just helping him out.
animals live without money, just off the land, the bounty.
That's the best thing you've ever said, man.
But then I thought I would like to think that raccoons are scavenging garbage and then going to little raccoon restaurants
And
that they have
trading up.
open in the neighborhood. Would that be adorable?
Yeah, I got this dirty diaper. Can you have the chef prepare it for me? It's like a catch and cook.
I like that a lot.
Other than raccoons, most animals just eat what they eat. I guess any animal will
And
eat
what do you
garbage.
think? They wash their food? Is that why you think they're better than everybody else?
I don't know if raccoons are better.
Well,
Squirrels.
raccoons
No,
are
but
better.
what do you think makes raccoons different than another animal who's just finding his food and eating it? That's what raccoons
Because they
do.
look like little-
They don't
little
actually
people.
go and fucking change it in for something
I
else.
know, but that's the funny part.
No,
That's
I
what
get. Okay, you know what? You ruined it now.
They're just raccoons are different. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
In Ottawa, at least at night, like, and they're big and they look like they have hands.
Dude, I would domesticate a raccoon
I don't
for
think you
sure.
could. But it's an easier life to be an animal. So Fahim,
It's an easier life to be an animal.
I think so.
Are you fucking nuts?
What are you talking about? You have to be worried about
No
your
doors.
life like
No
24/7.
doors.
I think it's a way harder life to be an animal.
Yeah.
Well, no animals maybe throw themselves off the bridge because life is too hard.
Well, I see your point. I wonder if like the deer wake up in the morning and like, fuck, another day trying to outlive the wolves.
These
you know?
motherfuckers. I don't know.
Good
I mean,
question.
I imagine that prey animals are constantly listen. You're going to bed,
Everything's
fearing
afraid of
for your
something.
life,
Yeah.
and waking up fearing for your life.
They're not living their best life.
Like wolves probably live their best life. You know what I'm saying? If you're a predator,
Yeah,
you're
that's probably a
living
way
your
better
best
life, yeah.
I mean, it does suck. You know, here it is. A predator is like a commission salesman. Has a cushy job, drives a nice car, but you got to produce.
Yeah.
If you're not producing,
Yeah.
you ain't eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the prey is like the automaton that goes into work every day, plugs it out,
Hey, Tim. Hey, Larry.
but could be taken out at
Yeah.
any time.
Yeah. I like that.
Interesting.
I like when you make a point and then you say to yourself, interesting. Simon,
Something
great
to
point.
think about. Siri, take a note.
What else you got? Come on.
he was shadow banned for saying, he told a story about.
Do you see what happened there?
I was trying to make it seem like we
Mitch
edited something
McConnell
out.
did.
Oh, did he?
No, he said Hamas. Oh no, there I did it.
Are we not supposed to say that word?
Well, he did.
don't
He
give a
did, and he
shit.
got shadow banned.
Who did?
Fahim Anwar. Are you with us?
Said Hamas and he got shadow banned.
He said in a skit or something.
Okay.
I believe it was on Instagram.
Dude, by the way, Epic Games robbed him. $5,000. Oh my God.
He has one of his dances in Fortnite, and that is a credit. Like
He has
said.
one of his dances in Fortnite.
Yeah.
What dance is it?
It's stupid as shit, but
the
who gives a
emo
fuck?
slump?
He said he was like,
I don't know if it
he's
was-
like, I posted this video on my YouTube. It got like no traction, no likes, no views. He's like, and then months later, Epic Games hit me up. They're like, can we use this dance in Fortnite? You know how much money they made off that dance, dude? Fucking, I bet you they made millions off that dance.
That sucks, eh? When you watch a bad deal you made just come to fruition.
He didn't seem bummed. He, like Kamar's saying, he was like, it's a sick credit. I don't think he realizes the like gravitas of.
No, but I'm
Oh
saying
no, I think he was saying it sort of begrudgingly.
for,
like,
forget even that. Just that situation where you've made something or you sell something and then that thing takes off.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, you're in no position.
well, no, it could be the thing like $5,000. You know, the person who thinks they're taking advantage
yeah.
of someone.
No, but what I'm saying too is like you're in no position. They can just say, listen, you could be like, no, I want 20. And they're like, there's a million asshole dances we can go and yeah, done. We're out of here.
it's like when Facebook wanted to pay David Cho in stock.
Yeah.
They're like, this
Yeah,
we're going to be
sucker.
out of business
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. This
Yeah.
stupid fucking dummy. Meanwhile,
Then he told a weird story about how
I'm not
with
the
you.
only one
I'm with
seeing
you.
this,
I'm
right?
with you. Yeah. Kamar is AI. He sent his own chat GPT self today. That's why it's like this, Simon, too. He when you say something, look at it. He's like this. Yeah. Oh, sorry. The Zin.
Yeah, you can't forget the Zen face.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat GPT.
he
Code
told-
in a Zin mouth.
Sorry, go on.
He
come
told
on.
a story about how I needed this thing to pay off for me comedy, and so I wanted my parents to see me on the Tonight Show. So I called a producer and he got me on. Like, it was funny that it seemed like that opportunity was there the whole time, but he was telling it almost like a break story. I don't know. And then he was sort of like saying a guy that can sing and dance is gay or not masculine.
I mean, isn't that kind of true?
I don't think so.
Who sings and
I think
dances?
dancing's asexual.
Who's super
Elvis.
like an alpha male?
Elvis.
Was he really dancing?
Since Elvis,
What was he? He wasn't dancing. He was
Like-
gyrating his hips.
like Rolling Stones, what's his name? He's not an alpha male. Like, yeah, he fucked a lot of girls.
James
but-
Brown. That's an alpha
Yeah,
male.
that's an alpha male.
MC
James
Hammer.
Oh my, yeah.
MC Hammer.
I bet you Mike Tyson could bust a groove.
That is crazy. It is true. MC Hammer. Nobody fucks with
No,
MC,
MC Hammer rolled deep.
And those pants were some of the dumbest shit
Yeah.
in Hollywood
Yeah.
ever, or in whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The
Prince?
zeitgeist ever. Was Prince a bad motherfucker?
Yeah.
Not-
Dave Chappelle's
Prince was
fucking
a
basketball
bad
story.
motherfucker.
Prince was a bad motherfucker. And if he was straight, I bet you he slayed pussy that would kill the average person.
Damn right.
Was Prince gay?
That's
No,
what I just said.
no,
I don't
no,
think
I-
he
I'm
was.
he was.
asking.
No, he
I bet
was
he did.
not.
I bet he
Well,
fucked some guys.
He was a symbol.
And
he was
who
a
did
symbol.
who did we talk about right before Prince?
I said,
Come on,
oh my God.
get there.
Oh, I said James Brown. Oh, no, MC Hammer.
MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Right. See, MC Hammer's different. MC Hammer was dressing like a clown. He wasn't dressing like provocatively.
He didn't say
But-
dress. He said song and dance.
No. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
James Brown.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who was dressing in like tight ass fucking clothes, but would still shove a boot up your ass. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? MC Hammer, same thing, but for a different.
Yeah.
different
Either way, I
reason.
nailed 3 right off the
Yeah,
bat.
yeah.
Song and dance,
Yeah.
not gay.
But after that, it's done.
It's a bit downhill after that.
Well, yeah. I mean, who? You're gonna say Justin Timberlake?
I bet you could beat the
where are
shit
we
out of
going?
me.
Usher.
No, Usher gay, bro. Usher be hanging out with Puffy, son.
Oh, Puffy. That's you see that shit going down.
That save for the post, Joe. Then there's an interesting moment where they call Joey on the phone.
I think Joey called in. I think Joey called Joe and he
I
answered.
believe they were calling him.
Okay.
Okay, why?
Because he goes, "What's up, Joe Rogan? You never call, you never write." He's like, I talked to you yesterday. And then Joey revealed when he's going to be on, and Joe had it edited. There was just a brief moment there.
Because they phoned him that
This is for the
long ago?
nerds.
No, it's because Joe said, I don't want people knowing who's going to the mothership. So he said, I can't have people knowing what date Joey's going to be in town because I want every mothership show to be a surprise, like the lineup.
Interesting. Or
No, I like, come on.
He recorded this Amwar one so long ago that it was back when Joey was on, which was like
Oh, Joey's already been
3.5 months.
The only thing is, I hate to sound like this guy, but there was pictures of him on the Comedy Mothership Instagram, like yesterday.
So we know it's present.
Unless,
Are you talking about Anwar?
yeah,
He lives in Texas. He's constantly at the mothership.
okay. It seemed like Joe was like, I never see you, and
Yeah, that's because Joe's like, you play at the
Oh,
Vulcan,
maybe you're right.
motherfucker.
Maybe he's been in LA.
I don't know. I think it was very close to.
But
There's no rhyme or reason to when
Anwar's
episodes
another
come out.
guy. I've never seen his comedy, so I'm kind of talking out of turn here. Have you seen it?
I have.
Is it very funny?
Oh my God, you fucking pompous cunt. Don't ever do that again.
Have you?
How are you not picking up on that? Did you see what he did to you?
No, I didn't see what he did to
What
me.
was weird was
have.
his first bit was the story he told on.
Just-
Joe.
Can you just answer the question?
So he's sort of a lot bitty.
No, he's,
Can you answer the question?
What's the question?
Was he good? Do you like his stand up?
no, he just answered that.
Yeah. Asked and answered.
You said yes?
Asked and answered.
He said no.
Asked and answered.
Because what I was going to say was he's kind of in like Callan camp, where this is his 4th appearance on Rogan, and he didn't get that bump, 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 you know?
I think he's more of a writer.
Joe's always talking about how funny he is, and they mention Fahim Anwar a lot on the show. I don't know if you picked up on that.
But for me, it's like if you compare him to the guy we're going to do next, it's night and day. Just like the riff, the conversation was
Yeah,
just
Dan
sort of
Soder's
like,
really funny, yeah.
I don't know. If it,
In Dan Soder's defense, I think Fahim Anwar is like, I think he writes for television.
that's what I'm saying.
And I think Dan Soder is constantly doing podcasts, like sharpening the steel. You know what I mean? He's like the Legion of Skanks. If you listen to that show, it's just constant zingers.
He's not on Skanks, though, is he?
Fahim,
No.
Dan
Dan
Soder.
Soder.
he rolls with the meat. He drops
yeah,
in.
I
Well,
mean,
whatever
he
you.
dropped
Okay,
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's in that crowd.
Yes,
Fine.
yes, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
not on the Skanks, but you know what I mean. Steel sharpens steel.
He's just, I don't know how to describe it any other way, but Fahim is very safe. He doesn't feel like he has any of the demons or something that other comedians may have. Or
I liked him. I thought he was fine.
oh, he's a nice guy.
I thought he was fine.
So
Knowing that he's been on 4 times, like I thought this was like his second time on.
Joe is back on YouTube, can no longer play music.
The worst.
Maybe a good thing.
No.
No, but I like what he's going to do. I think that's really smart, actually. Give Spotify a little more prestige. And if, you keep it in and you just cut it, they're already editing their
No, Simon,
editing
what's
their
hilarious
shit.
is when he said it, I was like, Joe is saying this almost like he's me. Where like he's gonna have to sit down and do the work of editing it twice. You know what I mean? Like he was like, oh, well, then we're gonna have to edit it twice. And I was like, you're not doing shit. You're
he's
rich,
not- he's not
motherfucker.
doing-
You're just gonna
And
pay
if
someone
Jamie
to do that.
doesn't want to
Like,
do it, just hire somebody
Yeah.
else to do it. You know?
Dude, you could edit this thing 6 different ways. You could have it in Punjabi
Well,
if you wanted.
This
Like,
is what I'm saying. So leave the songs in, and then that's also good for Spotify, right? Like they're paying him all this cash. Give them a little fucking extra reason for people to go directly to Spotify.
it's the crazy. You know what's so dumb
That's
to me?
so smart.
You'd think someone at Universal Music would just write over to YouTube and be like, "Listen, if Joe Rogan uses anything in our catalog, green light."
Yeah,
Like it's only good. It never there. Name a time where a song has been played and it's negatively affected the artist.
I thought the problem was they take the whole thing.
They do. That's what I'm. No, but what I'm saying is,
So he loses that podcast
No.
to them because he played a song. And then they got divvied up to 2 songs in a show.
No, it's they're worried about like them using "Let It Be" for a Nazi rally. Or
I get it.
something, You know?
Joe's also wrong, by the way. He can play a song, like a snippet of it, and then he can claim fair use.
Because he's talking about it.
The problem is it will affect like the fair use claim. He can't upload the video the day it comes out. So if he wanted to,
Because they have to check
the
it.
fair claim has to go through. It could take like 2 weeks, and then the video has.
Anyways, what I said though is perfect. Like, who cares about YouTube anyways?
Yeah, you already have the Spotify deal. I don't even know why you fucking give a shit.
If you want to go and see the full thing, just go to Spotify. I can't believe, frankly, that he didn't end up going to Elon. I thought that would have, ditched Spotify completely, or just at least include. Why hasn't he included Twitter in his? Like he's everywhere else. Why not on X or whatever the fuck it's called?
I mean, when you have those kind of numbers, I don't think you give a shit.
We're definitely just by the by going to see Tucker Carlson on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know. I said that weeks
Because
ago.
Tucker was just on Lex.
Who was
Yeah.
he?
Very interesting podcast,
Really?
by the by. Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, you should listen to it. And
By the by.
and they talk about going on Rogan and why it hasn't happened and does he want to do it and blah blah blah. So like I can't imagine that's far off.
Interesting.
And is that a good or a bad thing?
I think it'll be an interesting discussion. I don't know if it's good or it's bad. I can't put a read on this guy at all. I'm like, oh yeah, I understand you. And then he laughs and I'm just like, fuck, what is going on here?
I'd like to see the Lex one, and I would like to see him on Joe. I don't think I've never seen Tucker Carlson as a person.
Oh, listen to the Lex one. It's a 3-hour conversation.
Yeah, that's why I said I will.
They
But
ta-
I'm interested because you only know him as like the bow tie, like you only know him as an interviewer. You've never like heard like a childhood story of his, unless it was like some concocted sort of, like when I was a child in Connecticut.
he goes pretty hard on Jon Stewart because Jon Stewart just went hard on his whole
Yeah, that was hilarious. though. It was
supermarket
fucking
thing
incredible.
there.
The thing is, if he's just making it all up and is a horrible racist person, then he's still amazing at what he does. But he comes off as a decent, like really good person.
I told
with decent intentions in it and not painted the way if someone just said his name in the pejorative, what that meant, because he's just another guy.
Remember I told you I saw a video of some guy like running up on Tucker Carlson fly fishing in the.
It was harassment, you mean? Like they were in his face, like
Well, yeah, the guy. I mean,
TMZ?
the guy said no. I mean, it was just some regular dude who saw Tucker Carlson fishing in Central Park, fly fishing in Central Park, and he walks up to him with his camera out, and he's like, you Tucker Carlson? He's like, yeah. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm fly fishing. And they have like he has a very nice, like he sits there and talks to this guy explaining the fly fishing. Like, yeah, I catch. It was just very,
And it's another one thing. The person that, if Fox News is so bad, I've said it before,
Fox
the
News is
person
so bad,
they
sorry.
fire is better than Fox News.
yeah, I agree. I don't think Tucker Carlson is the worst person alive.
No, I didn't say you did.
I'm not
But
a-
some people think he is.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Then they talked about Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, shit, yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's the
Fuck yeah, how apt.
Again, the time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack the brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE Movie Game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. And this week we're doing Beverly Hills Cop, the classic buddy cop action film genre, starring Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, John Astin,
Judge Reinhold.
Lisa Albacker, Ronnie Cox, Steven Burkhoff. Don't forget him. Cinematography by Bruce Surtees, if that gives you a clue. He was popping off. That might have been too much information.
You're hilarious. No, that is too much info.
Produced by, you know this, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Oh, rest-
Top Gun. Like Jerry
Oh no, it's
Bruckheimer.
the other one that died. Don Simpson died.
Okay.
Good call. Whoa, you knew something. That was there. That was my next.
I'm ready.
Oh, that was your next, was it? I'm ready too. What
Okay.
year do you say?
What year did you say?
1983.
Oh, I said 86. 85?
1984.
4.
So close. So close.
I knew it was right. Like I knew it was either my year, the year of my birth, or one of the years after or before. Fuck me.
All right.
Go ahead, Simon.
Well, I said it cost 17 million
Yeah.
and it grossed 87.3.
I said it cost 30 and it made 210.4.
Oh, Matt, you're really close. Budget 13 million.
What did you say?
30.
Well, I'm close to that one.
Yes.
Box office 234 million.
It made that much money
Oh, dude,
in
even-
1984.
It was
they
fucking
talked about it as well on
massive.
this podcast. Whatever was massive was the biggest. Where now there's pockets of
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was like the biggest thing since sliced bread.
there's someone that, like when I first mentioned Ada Ross, you were like, who would he talk about? He's a nobody. Then you saw it like he's a huge thing
Well, he's still a nobody.
in our circles, but he's big.
You
Circles
think-
of people
you
over
think
the
in
age of
history
25. Yes.
He's going to be like a factor, a figure.
All like the Pauls, all that fame is a different type of fame
Well,
that
Paul-
we've never experienced before. But they're bigger than some movie
The
stars.
Pauls and Aiden Ross are two totally different things.
cut,
What if
from,
Aiden
cut
Ross-
from the same cloth?
What if Aiden Ross ends up being a billionaire?
Oh, that's something.
Will that do it for you?
That's the first streaming billionaire.
Be the first. Yeah, I guess he would be. Yeah.
It's all just brand new territory. But back in the day, when a movie was big, movies used to have lineups, like nightly, sold out.
Dude, we used to
Because
go.
it's the only thing you could go and do.
We used to go. I saw multiple movies multiple times in theater. I haven't done that in 3 decades.
Because it was just it's all an
Like in the
experience.
same theater, you would watch it and then watch it again.
No,
and
but
watch it
I'm
again.
saying like a week later, I might go back and see it with someone else at a different theater
Yeah,
or whatever.
gotcha.
Or like the Mayfair, dude. Don't forget, I grew up like 3 blocks from the Mayfair. I'm not kidding you. I've seen Speed on the big screen 65 times, and that's not an
But
exaggeration.
they would like play 3 movies
Yeah.
in a row every day. eh?
yeah.
So sad.
No, it's because, dude, it was always because Speed forever was the double bill. So like they'd be like, "This is the new movie," and you'd be like, "Oh, I really want to see that," and they'd be like, "Well, Speed's playing after it," and you'd be, and you're so high that you're like, keep in mind, you're 12 years old and you're stoned, so you're like, it was a warm place you could spend 5
yeah,
hours.
no. I get
Yeah,
it. It's
the Mayfair
just
was the
funny
shit.
that Speed was the one they threw
Oh my god,
in.
always blown away. Oddly,
It's like they rented everything else, but they bought Speed.
yeah. Do you know what the best was? When they do Jackie Chan runs, they do like 4 Jackie Chan. Dude, you could just get high as fuck and sit there for like 12 hours. Sorry, Kumar.
What was crazy was the drive-in movie.
Oh, I
Drive-in
missed that.
movies are so weird.
That's so weird.
Like, have you ever been to? I'll give you 2 scenarios. Okay,
Okay.
Have you ever been to a drive-in when it's really buggy outside? Like you're in black fly season or whatever.
I mean,
mosquito
maybe like
season.
40 years
It's
ago.
fucking horrible. Or if it's so hot and you're like trying to be in your car
Yeah.
with the windows up, but you can't have the windows up. Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? And if it's buggy and hot, like
keep
game
your car
over,
on.
man. I don't think you can sit there with your car running the whole time. That's not right.
Just idle that bitch for 3 hours.
They probably did.
Probably.
Well, in the old days they did, but you can't do that now. I guess if
still
everybody
would.
had an electric car, you could do that.
Well, they don't even have them, so it's But I guess
Well, they still have drive-ins.
Where?
There's, I think, 2 drive-ins in Ottawa, but I bet you every city has 1 or 2 drive-ins. Big city.
I disagree.
Okay, I'm gonna check.
Just Google how many drive-in theaters are left in Canada.
Okay, in Canada.
Yeah. Well, is that not a good enough?
Sure.
Like, you know, if you find out there's only 15, then I think I win.
Yeah, fair enough.
while he does that, they did talk about Shane's monologue. And have you seen the Limu Emu sketch? It was cut, but it's
No, from Saturday Night Live. No,
it's hilarious. That's all I'll say. Then
I saw his sports betting one. That was hilarious. Where you can like bet on your buddy's marriage.
yes,
Like-
yes. I'm sorry. They talked about SNL and Living Color, and then they did discuss Jamie Foxx in the dress.
Yeah.
To Simon's point, so
40. There are 40 drive-in movie theaters in Canada.
Okay.
and you think that's a lot? That's less than you thought? or
No, it
more?
was way less than I thought, but he said 10, so I feel like a champ now. you
Wow,
know?
I don't know about that. I mean,
Like, you want me to check the US?
no, I'm just thinking because we have let's say there's realistically 10 provinces because I'm sure there's not a lot of drive-ins up north.
It's about 2 per major city. I was about right in what
Okay,
I said.
sure.
But
Go ahead, Kumar. I'm so sorry. We're arguing about fucking drive-in theaters.
we're not done either.
They talked about Oppenheimer, which you've already talked about, but you haven't seen it yet, Simon.
No, I have not.
Okay, well, hold on, Simon. You're looking it up?
Yeah.
You already looked it up?
Nope, not yet.
Well,
How many drive-ins
What's
do you
the
think in the
over-under in the
United
States?
States?
Yeah.
I think there's probably like
I would assume there's a lot more left there.
1,500 in the States.
So you're setting the over-under at 1,500?
At 1,500.
I'm going to go under.
Under?
Yeah.
and over, under?
I think there's 500.
So you're going
Yeah,
under as well.
1,500 seems like a huge number, but that's where we're sticking. You're going under also? Okay.
I mean, does it seem like a low number? I feel like the U.S. would hold on to like small towns. You know what I mean? I feel like they would. But a drive-through, I don't know. It's such.
300.
Well, so that's not a lot at all.
But in
No,
the
that
late
makes sense.
1950s, there were 4,000. That's before movie theaters.
So, Mister, they're everywhere. They're not everywhere.
I mean, here, there's a lot of them. 40, considering how fucking
Dude, our country's
few
vast.
people we have.
They talked a lot about cinema, and
Sorry. You can't just jump over the dress.
yeah,
That's
did.
what they
No,
did,
he-
and we can't.
You had nothing for it, and I
He
looked
gave
to
you your flowers, you accepted them, and then we moved on. That's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, I
he
think
gave you your flowers.
Okay,
He
okay.
pointed at you and said, "To your point, Simon."
They did
You
talk about
acknowledged
it.
it.
But
and
wait,
said,
we talked about that dress off air, didn't we? Or
No.
did we talk about that today on air? Okay, I'm done then. No problem. It's been discussed. Last thing I want to do is beat off a dead horse twice.
"Oh, he went back for seconds. He's still hard."
Like udders.
Bruce Lee was 135 pounds.
Yeah. You think you could take him? Is
He
what you're
was
saying?
No, if
Are you going to pull a
Featherweight?
Bradley Martin?
if I was just standing beside a guy who weighed 135 pounds,
Yeah. You would feel a certain way.
I would feel a certain way. I would, but then he'd go, wow,
But
take you out.
you know that like Michael Machucci.
I was just
there
gonna say,
could just
100%,
roll you up into a ball,
Yeah.
and he's probably like 110 pounds.
100%, and that's the whole basis of MMA. There is way for the smaller man to take, but I'm just thinking,
However,
Maybe
there
with a shirt off.
are telltale signs.
Of
Like if you see cauliflower ear and you still decide to press that person, I think you deserve every inch of the shit kicking that you're about to take.
there was no signs for
because
like,
either a rugby player or a fighter.
for Taekwondo. I mean, if
No, you're
Asian,
right. Yeah.
that was a dead giveaway. But as a white guy, you would never know.
No, exactly. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, Kamar, is like, I live in a world now. I get what you're saying. In Bruce Lee's day, there was a lot of like toughs who probably just saw a 135-pound guy and were like, I could take this guy. I think nowadays, most people are a little more, not most, but I think
Smart people
smart
are a
people are
little
way
more
more
cautious.
cautious of like the amount of murderers that are out there.
I would assume right now in my life, if somebody wanted to fight me,
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to fight them.
I want none of the smoke.
You know?
Yeah. Zero smoke.
Zero of it.
Wow.
But I'm just saying, like,
I'm 41
if,
though.
if somebody wants to fight you, it means they want to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what size they are.
Like, you only want to fight if you want to protect yourself.
Yeah. And the worst is when a much smaller person than you is like actively
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to fight.
that's
Because then you're
really
like,
bad.
this is a problem.
Then you don't even know what to make of
Yeah.
the
You're like,
situation.
fuck.
Then they started talking about rap.
But that's what they always said, right? Like, if you're the little guy, just act crazy.
Yeah. And
So maybe
punch first
everybody's
and
just
hit first.
acting crazy.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. Rap music. I
They
love
started
it.
talking
Yeah.
about rap music, and they started talking about third base and
Yeah.
his friend Everlast. And a glaring omission,
The Beastie Boys.
is the Beastie Boys that he never mentioned. Like
I was screaming at the TV or at
just-
the,
as
the
a
radio.
white rap group that had success and has bangers like Sabotage is undeniable.
And hold
But
on.
wait, we did
Joe
this, though.
is crazy.
No, because you didn't.
House of Pain, they didn't like.
They only had Jump Around.
Jump Around was okay. It's not even that great.
No, that's a banger.
it was.
It still holds the
It
test
still
of time.
is. It's a stadium anthem.
But to your point,
That album stunk.
no, to your point,
no, it was not. It was fire.
Tell me
name
another,
song.
Boom Schluck Luck Boom.
Yeah, terrible.
Jump
Which is a
Around.
terrible song.
No,
by
at the
way.
time it was so big.
At the time, if you liked,
Shamrocks and Shenanigans.
okay, no, enough.
That album stinks, Kamar. Don't do this.
Stinks.
I'm telling you, it was
Nothing
hilarious.
holds up.
I was sleeping underneath on this guy's floor. I was probably like 15 or 16, and he was a DJ, and he got the album. Like he was such that he would get releases like this that came out Friday. Apparently, this is really popular in the States right now. He puts it on, but it was on the wrong speed because it was like an LP or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
single.
45. You gotta.
And it was like, dun, dun, wah, dun, dun, wah. And we were like, this song's horrible. And then he changed the speed. It's like, oh my God. And by 5 hours later, everywhere he went, people were playing it in their cars, driving around neighborhoods.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
it was a banger at the time. I will give you that. Same look. This is going to be unpopular with you all, I'm sure.
It's y'all, but okay.
That's what I said, y'all.
Oh, okay.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Like those songs were good at the time,
That's what it is.
but they stink now.
Not. What are you fucking saying?
I said it, and I told you it was going to be unpopular.
They're irrelevant now because when you heard them, there was like, that is the present. That is something about the present. And now
And now it's
looking
just
back,
so far
what
back.
happened didn't happen.
I'll accept that.
But if you
You're going to tell me that you're like kicking it to Hits from the Bong still?
Yep.
Okay, well.
Still a great song.
No, it's
Still a great
It
song.
seems pretty corny now.
Actually, if you
ask
walked in a
me.
house that
and you
popped on,
hear,
you'd be
Yeah,
like,
dude. Fuck yeah. But
you would because you're
Ba-da-da-ba.
remembering your
Nostalgia.
past.
100%.
But when you look at that song now today without the blinders of the past on, if you heard that for the first time
would-
today
it still
and
goes
you
hard.
heard the
It still
bubbling
goes hard.
of the bong,
Yeah.
it's kind of cheesy, dude. Come on.
It's
Come
called
on.
Hits from the Bong. Oh my God, Simon, you have.
Yeah, I know. The fact that there's even a song called Hits from the Bong is cheese, man. I'm sorry. I agree.
You just brought up the Beastie Boys as like someone who wasn't brought up as a fucking white rap staple. And
Okay,
dude,
wait,
you want to
the-
talk about cheese?
The
Beastie Boys
the
might have
one
been the
album where they tried to make them sell out and become something they're not. Yes, was cheesy. Everything after that or before that,
You Gotta
was way.
Fight.
Yeah, License to Ill is cheesy. Every other album is fucking is nothing like that one.
whatever.
No. Don't whatever me.
No,
Matt.
I'm not
If
gonna-
you want to come at me for white rappers that are shitty that I listen to, don't use the Beastie Boys as an example.
I didn't say they were shitty. I'm a big fan of the Beastie Boys. I'm just saying your argument is like, how does Hits from the Bong hold up? Dude, a lot of people could make that argument about a lot of Beastie Boys songs. I still like them. They still go hard. And it has nothing to do with nostalgia either.
Okay.
Well, you would agree. You still like, I know you don't listen to music,
Yeah, I don't listen to License to Ill. I would
No, but you-
never throw that on
I
my
get it.
fucking.
What about Ill Communication?
Yeah, it's a totally different album.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Simon. It's a totally different album.
I don't sound like that.
Would you listen to it right now if it
Yes,
was on?
I would.
Okay.
But it holds up. That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, Cypress Hill holds up.
Okay.
If you were at Ward right now,
It doesn't hold up. And I'm going to say another controversial thing, Matt.
go ahead.
Beastie Boys' License to Ill also doesn't hold up. I'm a Beastie Boys fan. Doesn't hold
That
up.
doesn't matter. You're talking about, yeah, fine, whatever. Go on with the rap.
No, it's just a glaring omission. He either doesn't like them or forgot he liked them.
Are there other white rappers that he forgot? I meant to ask that.
Vanilla Ice?
Well, listen,
No. Vanilla Ice is a joke.
what we're doing right now is we're talking about fairly mainstream. Like
900 Foot Jesus?
If you go to the underground side of rap music, there's a million fucking white rappers.
Eminem?
Idea who died,
What do you think of
Sage Francis.
that guy who raps on the internet? Give me 3 words.
Oh, Harry Mack,
Yeah, Harry Mack.
great rapper.
You
He
like him?
he's a great freestyler. I've never like pen to paper is a totally different thing. And freestylers have a lot of crutches.
Does he have pen to paper songs?
I don't know.
He must.
It's a
A
good
guy like
question.
that doesn't just not write songs.
It's a good question.
Do you guys know who Casey Musgraves is?
I've heard the name.
Casey Musgrave.
She's a super hot country singer.
Okay.
She was on SNL last night.
Okay.
And this is one of her lyrics.
Okay.
Because he said, if you hear someone singing a bong, it's corny. She's super hot.
So we're giving her a pass. This is a song about a bong.
I
you
used
said?
to wake and bake, roll out of bed, hit the gravity bong that I made, and start the day. For a while, it got me by. Everything I did seemed better when I was high. I don't know why.
That's the worst set of lyrics I've ever heard.
It comes out of me, but people are still singing about bongs. She performed that last night.
Sorry, did you use that to try and like
Yeah.
prove me wrong? Because you're just proving me right. That will not hold up. That is a fucking terrible lyric.
You never know.
You know what
never know.
holds up?
Go on.
Innuendo. Innuendo holds up
Shove it up your
in a
innuendo.
song where you're saying it but not saying it. But when you just come out with bongs a bubbling, that shit don't hold up when you
It's a
become an
sound,
adult.
you fucking weirdo. It's just a sound at the beginning of the fucking song. You're so weird. Listen, you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm entitled to my
Yeah,
opinion.
and I'm just saying, and I'm entitled to sit
And
here and
I
go,
said
your opinion is
it was
fucking
going to
wackadoo.
be a controversial
Yeah,
opinion
You're
right
welcome
from
to
the
it.
start.
Yeah, you're welcome to it.
Thank
Simon,
you.
to answer your question,
And if people agree with me who happen to be listening to the program,
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that's okay too, man. That's life.
The Apple Vision Pro is amazing. Well, all the concept with any of the having the huge screen and also the idea about being immersive in the video game. Mm-hmm. They talked about Quake.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually that was in Soda.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the Apple Vision Pro is amazing. It's so much. It makes so much more sense than having a huge TV.
yeah.
If you're a gamer, especially.
Don't you think there's something shared about watching something together with someone?
You can do that. You buy 2 headsets. You spend $8,000. You're fucking great.
No, but even there, you're not really watching together.
Why are you not watching together? 100% you are.
Well, you have your earphones in.
No, you're wearing the Apple headset,
Yeah. And it's blasting the sound into your ears.
but there's a microphone and they can hear you too.
Okay, that right through the
It's
microphone.
just
gotcha.
like your, yeah.
I mean, again, that is the recipe for divorce. Just by the way, when people start sitting beside each other wearing goggles, that is the recipe for divorce.
Yeah,
I always
okay,
thought
but-
marriage was the
Because then
recipe
you're
for
going to be
divorce.
like, well, we could just be doing this in other rooms. And then you're like, well, we don't even need to live together anymore. We can still watch TV together, and then it's over.
Well, in the meantime, if you're not in a relationship, that'll just make so much more sense practically.
Listen, Simon, if you live in a studio apartment, which is the way of the future, because a studio apartment's going to cost you $5,000 a month soon,
Yeah.
the Apple Vision Pro is like the only way to live. Now, again, where you have the extra $4,000 to get it, like think about it. You're sitting in your studio apartment. It's very small. It's cramped. You strap on this Apple thing, and all of a sudden you're sitting in a
You
fucking
just gave the plot to Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Like the world has gone to shit.
Yeah.
You can't afford anything.
Yeah.
You live in a cubicle,
Yeah.
which is actually a shipping container.
yeah.
and you
you're
just
happy.
plug into your fucking goggles every day and you live your life in the Matrix.
That's okay, Simon. People will be doing that, and you'll be out trying to figure out your deer problem using
Yeah.
salt and all sorts of shit. Nothing. No one's asking you to do anything.
And I think you can couple them up that you are together in the virtual reality or the augmented reality.
Yeah, no. My problem was the hearing, but he solved that with his microphone thing.
The funniest was they showed this guy who's hooked up to like a Neuralink type thing. It was on 60 Minutes, and the 60 Minutes guy, the voiceover comes on, and he's like, I'm going to ask him a mathematical question, and he's going to search the internet using just his mind and come back with the answer. And you can see, like, he asks him the mathematical question, and the guy just sits there like this, like, not saying anything, just staring off into the abyss. And then eventually comes back and he's like, 6,482. You know what I mean? And I just thought to myself, like, I wonder if it's that slow or if that guy real quick was like, Pornhub.
I was just going to say,
You know what?
he just went to a porn
That's what I'm
website
saying.
for like 14 of the seconds.
He just quickly like, oh, look at the ass on this chick, and like, oh, the answer, yeah, sorry, it's 4. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's the future. Like, we're all just so ADHD that it's like, because think about it, the Apple Vision Pro, like, you could, this is the best part, Simon, you could be watching a movie with your wife. Okay, you guys are both watching a movie.
And
you guys
then
are
you
sitting
have
together.
porn and
not even porn. No. Even better. You also have your basketball card plastered to the wall.
Yeah, this all just seems wildly problematic.
Okay.
No, it sounds like great bachelor life.
No, listen, you're already
But
married. You're in it
just
for the long
seems
haul. This
wildly
can't hurt your
problematic.
marriage. You're past that. You guys are past Apple Vision Pro crushing
Yeah,
your marriage.
no, I just don't. Like you said, $8,000 to watch TV with somebody. Like, it's just, I bought my TV for $400, you know?
But you just thinking about the thing if you're traveling
Yeah.
or something.
Traveling.
Yeah,
would be
no,
sick.
listen, I'm looking at it from my eyes. The problem is for, like Matt saying, if you're single and your life is shit and you're not liking what you're doing and all of those things, this is the perfect escape. And this is the rudimentary version. Like, what's this going to be like when it's perfected?
It's going to be sick.
You will drive past a car on the highway with 2 kids in the back with them on.
Well, that's fine. It's the people in the front seat with it on that
And
you got a
that
problem
person will
with.
crash a car.
I saw one the other day. This guy's, his Tesla's driving and he's got the Apple Vision Pro on and he has nothing but, he's got like 6 roulette tables open on the highway. Just
It's like everyone wants to be a Christopher Columbus of some sort with the new technology.
It's so the self-driving cars will never, I will always be fearful of them. I can't get over it. When I see somebody, like, I've never seen it in real life, thank God.
But
when
if you
I,
saw someone on the highway,
dude, I would get off the on-ramp, like right away, first exit. I don't want to be around that thing when it crashes and starts a domino effect, you know?
Shitting on a plane, you have to be a special kind.
I mean, it's been a long time since I flew, so I can't really speak to it.
But of all the public shits,
that's a bad
like
one.
you go in a building, you go to another room,
Yeah.
you're sort of have some, but you're just,
The train is a bad
yeah,
one.
oh, the bus,
The bus is the worst, right? The bus is the worst.
the boat, the small boat.
Do they even have?
I guess you just,
Oh, okay.
over the edge.
I'll tell you what the worst is, and I know this for a fact. Houseboat.
the houseboat.
Houseboat is the worst.
Yeah.
Second only to, or maybe in front of the Winnebago.
In front of, no, in the Winnebago.
They're neck and neck though. Winnebago houseboat, like
No,
they're right there.
Winnebago's the worst.
And then after that, you go to bus. Because you know the bus air venting system is not good. Like the plane has to have super good like air,
For farts alone.
well, for farts and just you're stuck up there in the air. Like you can open the windows of a bus. You can't open the windows of a plane.
But if you are actually, if you just think about it, at the back of the bus, there's those 3 seats.
no, those are the worst. Dude.
And someone
Those are the
walks up
worst.
to
Yeah,
you
oh, yeah.
if you're in those seats with bulging eyes
And
and
dude-
discomfort and sits down, you know that 3 inches beside you, someone's just going to town.
And you literally watch that guy come like a great white shark. You have to watch him down the whole aisle. You're watching every person get up or shift thinking, don't fucking come back here. Don't come back here.
Wrong way.
Dude, there's
But if
nothing
everyone
worse
has
than
their
that.
Apple Vision Pro on,
You'll never know. You'll just smell something horrible.
yeah.
But if they can just like get nasal plugs that spritz in whatever,
Yeah, that'd be
game,
great. Yeah,
you know?
mint. Yeah.
If you're playing golf, it's like fresh cut
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems sort of like the same old Fahim.
No, it's going to be amazing. I just really can't see myself getting too far into it. But I said that about cell phones, so I've said that about pretty much everything that I've come to depend on.
You know what the thing is, Simon, is like right now, $4,000 is absolutely heinous. There's zero chance they're getting you for that price point. Once it's like 300, 400, that sort of thing. Like I guarantee you an iPad is the sort of thing that were like, I would never, ever get this in my, like, why would I ever use that for art when I can just do real art? And now you love Procreate. You know what I mean? Like it's something you use all the time.
I mean, yeah, nay, but I get you. Yeah.
Like imagine Procreate with the Apple Vision.
Oh, that would be interesting, but I don't even know how that would work.
Oh, I don't know what I was going to say.
No, it
this.
could be like brushes, like just right in front of you, like on an actual canvas.
It's so weird.
But then you could like pinch and
You could
squeeze,
just,
do
like,
all the
draw.
same. Yeah.
It's interesting. Very interesting.
Could you imagine if you had it set up so you were filmed? You signed up to be totally filmed for a day, but you don't know the day. And then you get it back. And you actually see how you carry yourself in the world and
How dorky you look.
whatever. I think it'd be horrible, but super cool at the same time. I mean, it'd be super cool. It could be cinematic.
They
you
catch
have a
you on
movie
your
of yourself.
worst
Hey, I
day.
will be able to do it, but
So that guy who's walking down the street with the goggles on doing this.
Yeah.
So he's seeing the world in front of him and he can sublay everything on top of that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
augmented reality. So again, Simon, think about it like this. You could be walking on the street with your, now again, I think right now they're too big and robust. I don't think it, but the ones like they've showed concepts for the future of them, like how they'll look in 10 years and they're like a pair of glasses. I've said this to you.
I saw somebody else had that technology already.
well, we said it before. We'll say it again. Contact lens.
The point being, Simon, like you could have Google Maps open and it would just be like a blue line on the street.
Contact lens doesn't work, Kamar, because how do you get like the haptic, the sound and stuff through the...
Well, no, but your earbuds. You would just have earbuds.
You would have earbuds. I gotcha. Yeah, that's right. It would be an earbud
No, you'd have an implant.
contact
That's what.
combo. No, we're trying to not have to
Yeah, we're avoiding the implant.
But
Thank
I'm
you.
losing my hearing.
deform yourself. Yeah.
Like it's obvious.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I got these headphones that have like muting.
Okay.
And so you can either hear what's going on outside, and it's like a hearing aid almost.
Yeah.
The technology will get there that losing your hearing will not be as bad as it was.
Come on, you would love the new, like the latest generation of Apple AirPods. You'd fucking love. They are a hearing aid.
I need a hearing aid just to hear people.
Yeah, these are perfect for you. Because again, you can choose on them
yes,
the same thing, ambient
The-
or
ambient,
Yeah, you can
exactly,
choose like, do I
exactly.
want both the world or do I want
Exactly.
noise
And
canceling?
and
Yeah,
you can. That is the next generation for the hearing impaired.
come on. There's a guy. So it's crazy. Mary has the latest AirPods, and like, there's a guy I follow on Instagram. He has all these Apple hacks, like shortcuts on your phone, whatever. He's been posting these videos lately where he's like, put your AirPods in for this song, and he plays like a clip of a song. And dude, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on in these fucking
It sounds
things.
amazing.
The sound is not like, dude, he played this one song where it sounds literally like the sound is going around your head, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Quadraphonic audio. There's some.
Are you just saying?
There's some. No,
for sure just
there's some
saying
YouTube
words.
stuff. Man.
Quadraphonic audio.
We got to wrap this up.
I sometimes use my bublonic converter to augment the reality around
Fucking
me.
You need that to
Incredible.
receive. At one point,
We finna gonna end this thing?
Fahim goes, "Have you ever done cruise ships?" And she was like, "What are you doing?" No. It was really like a, do we even know each other?
You know what's funny though?
but
That's
maybe
exactly.
he meant like Bert's thing.
Every day.
Or
Oh,
something,
no,
like
but even
a
then-
In his
bigger-
defense, in
a
his
bigger
defense.
one.
It's ironic because in the Cat Williams episode, he was like, "What? You won't do my club?" And he's like, "I am a theater only."
That was amazing.
And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of the same flex. Like, whoa, buddy, I don't do cruise ships. Like,
no,
I'm
but
above that.
I forgot all about that. How he's like, yeah, you won't do the club?
Yeah,
Joe Rogan.
yeah. I'm an arena act. Thank you.
I forgot that off my notes, actually.
Yeah, well, we're used to that.
Lucky we're here.
I give Fahim 2.5.
I will give him a 2.7.
I give him a 5, but the episode a 2.
Yeah, you're a dick. Just move on to the next one.
That's my play.
Yeah. Both of you throwing fucking shade.
I don't like when he uses my tricks against
Now, this is
me.
weird because it's 2112 Dan Soder. I think it came out on a Friday. Maybe it was a Thursday.
You missed the fucking face, dude.
Love the Soder. Love the Soder.
Love the soda.
Love
It's like a
the soda.
Seinfeld episode.
I love Soder.
But they come on bagging on Cat Williams because Joe just says we just had Cat on. And
It was pretty funny though.
Dan Soder is a total impressionist, like almost a Rich Little of your time.
Yes, he is almost like the Rich Little of our time, Kamar.
I
yes.
like how he used Rich Little
Yeah.
as the.
So, in case for any of our 70-year-old
Yeah, I was
listeners,
gonna say if you're 90, you might know who that is.
But it morphed. But I'm telling you, Rich Little is one of the biggest
Do you
stars
think
in
you
the
could
world.
pick somebody a little more current?
nope. Shecky Green,
the guy from Saturday, or the guy from Police Academy.
Yes, Michael Winslow.
There you go.
I was searching for his
He's
name.
the
actually,
Michael
I was like,
Winslow of our time.
I just think mainstream media has painted Cat Williams as crazy, and he seems a lot more saner than he's painted.
I mean, listen.
And I always
listen,
just find
listen.
that interesting.
Yeah, fighting a kid was that's a tough one. You can shrug your shoulders all you want. It's a tough one for the public to see. Is it not?
For me, when kids are little jerks, I was like, you
What
get
was
them,
the
Cat.
fighting the kid thing? I'm not sure I'm current on this story.
Look at. I'm not saying.
No,
you-
I'm asking.
I don't know.
You don't know
What
the
I'm telling
story?
you is this. I saw the video. All I'm saying is this. We've all been there where it's like, I could kill this kid right now. Okay. Every adult's been there. I'm not saying you haven't. It's rare that we act on it.
No, so what did he actually punched out a kid?
No, the kid like had him down on the ground.
How did this happen? Do you know, Kamar?
It was all over TMZ.
I mean, I know the video exists, but I don't know the context.
What are you, his lawyer?
This is crazy.
Acid answered.
Jeremy, pull that out.
Totally supportive. They talked about cocaine, the origin of cocaine,
Yeah.
which is very interesting
Go on.
because they always just chewed it.
Distrute it?
Like, no,
Distruded.
in South America, the conquistadors
Sorry, the what?
Conquistadors?
banned coca as an evil agent of the devil. But they found when people weren't chewing on it, they'd be lazy. Like, it's literally
Stimulant. Yeah.
just like Cat Williams says, those from the planet, from a plant to put there to be done. The turning it into a cocaine that makes white girls go crazy was the late Victorian era.
Thank you. This history moment has been
Sherlock
brought to you.
Holmes used to do it when he didn't have a big case.
What are you doing?
And in the 20th century, Memphis, Tennessee, cocaine was sold in neighborhood drugstores, costing 5 or 10 cents for a small box full.
What a time to be alive.
What
huh?
time? Things just changed. I thought it was hilarious when they played the clip of Ray Charles shitting on Elvis.
Yeah, that was great.
I think that's something only a blind man can do.
So they were playing a pickup soccer game. The kid was 17 years old.
Yeah.
They were playing a pickup soccer game. Words were exchanged. Cat punched him, and then the kid got him in a chokehold.
Okay, so I go back to it. Like
Yeah.
that's a tough one to right. Like Kamar's like
tough.
media has painted him as this maniac, and all I'm saying is like when you as an adult fight a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, in all fairness, you thought it was a 13-year-old kid.
I thought I said 17.
I'm pretty sure he said 13. No?
I wasn't listening.
Anyways, okay.
Big fucking surprise. Big fucking surprise. Either way,
That changes everything, man.
17 years old?
That changes everything.
That could have been way bigger than Cat. He
Weird-
probably was
yeah,
way bigger
weird
okay.
than
Either
Cat.
way,
We're
why
just-
is he fighting us? It doesn't
Because
matter.
they came to words during the sport.
He may have got
Like,
attacked because
Yeah.
Cat was doing the best trash talking still
This
of
is
all
what
time.
this is what I'm
and the
saying.
17-year-old snap. And thank God Cat is still here today.
You said that that Cat threw the punch and then the kid took him down.
That's correct.
Okay, so Cat threw the first blow.
Yeah, he said something that Cat didn't like.
So this 17-year-old kid
So
was
they,
clearly
they
lighting
were
Cat up.
They were playing a game of, let's just say it was soccer, but let's say it was pickup basketball, okay?
Why are you bringing race into this?
No,
Did you
no,
play
no.
sports?
I'm
Did
saying,
you ever play
yeah,
sports?
Matt,
Yeah, you
you're-
play sports. When
you're
someone
out
just
on-
hit you a bit too hard, or
This is what I'm talking
kicked your
about.
ankle,
Yeah.
but they didn't mean to.
Why is Cat Williams playing a pickup soccer
Well,
game with a
that's-
17-year-old
that is
He
a
kid?
runs a
difference.
440, man.
Yeah.
And it was
He
one
reads
day
800
he
books a
wasn't
month,
reading that day.
Matt.
He wasn't
What's wrong with
reading
you?
that day. When I'm not selling out arenas and reading 1 to 200
was-
page books,
If it,
I like to play pickup soccer with
not,
kids.
not clubs, Joe Rogan. Arenas.
Arenas.
if it was a 9-year-old, that's one thing.
Yeah, I get it. Every year it gets
He's
older, it
beating
gets
on
a
a
little
kid,
bit
oh.
better.
When you said 13, it sounded egregious. When I found out it was 17, I'm like, well, you got duped. You're fighting against the same. You're railing against the same thing that.
So if I come in here next week and in the poster I'm like, oh, I fought a 17-year-old kid in my week, you're like totally normal behavior.
if you're like out at a gas station and people are bad mouthing Mary and they happen to be 17 and you have to fight them, well, that's what you have to do. You know,
Have you
doesn't
been-
matter that they're 17.
Have you been
Really?
watching
Am I right here?
hockey and the Rangers?
Yeah, that kid, the 6'7" kid that's been fighting
He's
everyone
like
under the
6'5"
sun.
and he fights every single person. And some people are like, this has got it out of control, but he's 21. He would beat the shit out of you.
Well,
Like,
that's 21. That's a whole different thing. That's a man. He's
like,
legal to drink.
It's a very strong young man.
Well, no, but I mean, if you're
17
if
is
you're
not
17 and you play on your high school, let's say
Yeah.
football team, you're a massive individual.
There's
you know?
17-year-olds that are.
Yeah.
That's
that are-
probably the guy who attacked Cat Stevens or Cat Williams.
I hope Cat Stevens is okay.
Yeah.
He's also playing pickup soccer with Cat Williams.
Thank God he made it out. No one will be Elvis big.
Imagine Cat Williams singing Cat Stevens songs as an album. That would be gold.
What was that again?
Elvis, like he's sort of like the last big Elvis, Michael Jackson.
I think the Beatles were bigger than Elvis.
What are you saying? The biggest
When I was a kid, it was Elvis Lives. It was such a trope. It was such a meme before there's any memes. Was Elvis Lives long after he was dead.
I get it.
To anyone else, maybe some
so
John
is
Lennon
that
heads.
you're saying it's the first conspiracy theory? What are you
No, I'm
saying?
saying no one's ever going to be bigger than Elvis.
I don't
I would
think-
say Taylor Swift is bigger than Elvis.
Drake and Taylor Swift are maybe the last.
I think you judge it by, like they were saying, when the girls freak out and can't control themselves, like what?
Taylor Swift.
One Direction.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Justin
Like those-
Bieber was up
Yeah, but
there.
One Direction's going to be forgotten about in
Justin
10 years.
Timberlake,
Also, Elvis
all of
died at-
those boy bands.
Elvis died at 43.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy.
weird, eh?
No, it's just sad.
No, I thought he was much older than that. I thought he was like 60 something when he died.
I don't know about 60. I thought he was maybe 50. I'm caught in a trap.
I don't know if it was Dan.
But do you even like Elvis music?
I
hate
can't hold
Elvis
back.
music.
No, I'm not a big Elvis fan.
I think he has one song I like,
Which is?
which is it'll come to me in a secine. Wise men say
Only Fools Rush In.
only fools rush in.
And I can't help falling in. That's weird that's your. That,
With you.
I wouldn't have taken that to be your song at all, Simon. Yeah.
Someone in this discussion was constipated for 4 months,
to be.
Dan Soder.
which is just insane.
Have you ever been constipated before?
Only when I was addicted to opioids. And it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, no, being constipated is terrible.
Yeah.
Being constipated is bad.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Have you ever been so constipated though that you've like done bad things to yourself?
Cause self-harm.
Like tried to get it out?
Yeah.
You have?
Yes.
Well, that's bad.
No, well, yeah, it is bad.
Dude, I read a story about Survivor.
Can't
So
ask someone else to do it.
No, you can't ask
Yeah,
somebody
that's a
else
real
to do it.
trust.
I know you're going to roll your eyes. I read a story about Survivor. So this guy is on Survivor. And
I know this story.
and he's super constipated, and they're like you have two options right now. We can medically take you out of the game, or you can go into the woods and you can whittle a stick down and you can put a stick in your ass and try to like loosen up whatever's in there. And the guy did not want to leave the game, so he went into the woods and fucking whittled a stick down and crammed it up his ass. And
So that's to win $1 million
yeah,
on Naked and Afraid,
Yeah, it's
which
for
is to
nothing.
win nothing.
Yeah.
They are constantly doing shit like that.
We're savages.
No, it's gross. I don't know. But why did you have to, like, with so many medicines now, why would you have to, like,
Yeah, why'd you put a coat hanger up your
Yeah,
ass?
well, what did you put up your ass, first of all?
Finger.
Zin?
Finger.
Oh, he just used constipation as...
Finger.
Oh, that was an excuse.
Oh, my God.
He's like, I'm constipated again.
Why does this constipation keep making me ejaculate?
This would have to be 13 years ago,
Oh, you know the date?
15 years ago, 17 years ago. Well, I know the time period.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Let me check my calendar.
So that wasn't now, that was then.
Oh, my
I don't know if they
God.
had all the medicines.
They certainly did. If you were addicted to opioids,
prune
they
juice or
definitely
something.
had constipation medicines.
Yeah, no, constipated is no bueno. Yeah.
It's terrible. And for the reason that he said, you're still hungry.
Of course, you're
You
still
still
taking
got to
in.
eat.
Yeah.
You got to
Yes,
live.
compact,
You're taking
compact.
in. You're just not putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I even if I don't have to poop in the morning, I poop in the morning.
Thanks.
You're regular.
I
like
just
that.
want to get it out.
No, that's
just,
information
I don't
that
want to
everyone
forget
needed. Yeah.
one morning and
No.
then have it build up. Just get it out.
Yeah.
That's something no one discusses.
I like that Simon thinks he's going to forget that he has to shit. I don't want to forget.
If you run into someone and say, how's it going? They go, I'm fantastic. I just had a great shit.
All this shit talking is making me have to take a shit.
That's disgusting.
Go home.
I will. Trust me, I'm not shitting here. Rather end this
How many
podcast immediately.
how many public shits do you think you take a year? I think
0.
friend houses. I don't know if that counts.
Okay, I can't even remember. Like, I really have to shit now. This is bad, but I can't remember the last time I shit at someone else's house. I mean, my parents maybe, but
Listen, I'm saying I will shit at someone's house if it's like a must. Like if I'm like I'm just not gonna make it. I'd say like that's like a more comfortable option. But yeah, like out in public is a tough. That's a tough.
I
sell.
was at work the other day and I
Yeah.
had to shit. There was just nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
I own that building. I still didn't want to shit in there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just the idea of shitting where other people shat is
Yeah.
no bueno.
No, it's more just like shitting should be a comfortable, like, good 10-minute experience.
10 minutes. Try like 20 minutes.
Well, now that we have phones, might give it a half
Just-
hour.
I might get
I might as
stuck
well
on
spend the
there,
day
yeah.
there. Yeah. I have to
Once
shit
I
again.
have those goggles, I'm never coming off the toilet.
Is that a violation?
What?
If you're talking to someone while you're taking a shit,
Oh, I never do that.
unbeknownst to them.
No, that's not a violation.
Oh no, it's 100% a violation,
Oh, I've violated you so many times.
dude.
You're
Yeah, just know you've been violated,
It's,
son.
we only communicate through text.
Yeah, well, you
If
just
you're
know you've been
text-
violated that way too.
If you're texting me from the toilet, I could care less.
That's okay.
But I do not want to see your face while you're taking a shit.
No,
I
no,
have
not
a friend
face,
that-
you FaceTime.
I have a friend that FaceTimes me all the time on the shitter, and I mean all the fucking
That's putting
time.
your feet on the
Like
desk.
you
yeah,
know,
dude. Oh, that's worse than your feet on the desk.
you know he's calling only when he takes a shit.
No, like half the time
It's
he'll
like
be
he
like,
sits
yeah,
down to take a shit and the first thing he thinks about is you. That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, he's weird.
Do I know this person?
Back to Quake and video games.
Oh, please.
Do you remember GoldenEye?
My favorite.
Are you kidding?
The hours that we put in on that.
So
And
many
it's,
hours.
It's the craziest thing that I didn't see coming or hate myself for is I don't know exactly what happened with denouncing video games. Like those are for kids.
Yeah.
But if you just played video games and put a camera on you 10 years ago, you'd be a multimillionaire now. Or chances are you'd be all right. Especially you'd be at the
no.
beginning of the thing.
If we had just filmed ourselves playing video games instead of doing this, I bet we'd be wildly ahead at this point.
I disagree completely.
We just missed the gap. But
People want to watch people freaking out while they play video games. And if you, dude, the episode where I break the disc, that's a
viral
million.
moment.
That
Yeah,
is a
that's
million
10 million
view
hits for
episode.
sure, yeah.
We've made our nut right there.
It's true. Actually, you make a great point. That one video alone, yeah.
so I didn't see that coming. But I of course it is. Of course, that's just the best.
I went to the thing,
Playing tag with someone.
took out the
Evidently, you get
disc,
to blow their head off for you to be it.
Yeah.
took out the disc, looked at Matt in his eyes, said, "I bought this," and then snapped it in half.
And because of that, they don't
He's
make
actually-
discs anymore.
He snapped it first, threw it across the room, then looked me in the eyes and said, I bought this, and then stormed out. And then came back 2 days later with a fresh, used copy.
Well, we still had to play.
Yes, we did, yeah. I lit you up that day, too, and you almost snapped that one.
They talked about the possibility about Navalny, because you must know that theory now after the Lex interview.
The Russian guy.
The Russian guy that was killed.
Yeah. He was killed.
But they say it's by Putin. Now the people say it wasn't by Putin. It was someone else to like
Who said that?
demonize Putin more because
I think the point is Putin locked up his political opponent, and which led to his death. There's no way around that.
like I said when it happened the first time, it's just weird timing. Like it's so not the good time to do.
So
it.
I 100% wouldn't put that past like Western.
Or it's a total.
Sure. But just
it's
hear me out.
It's a double down.
I just if this war lasts 10 years, which it easily could. We're already 2 years in. It doesn't seem like it, does it?
Doesn't seem like what?
We're 2 years into the Russia-Ukraine war,
No.
right? So
Yeah.
we're already 2 years in. Like I said, it could last 10 years.
It shouldn't. It should end tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's not going to.
I mean, listen to Tucker Carlson just interviewed Putin.
Yeah. Suck your teeth at me.
So during the Lex podcast, they talk about it because he kind of like mailed it in with Putin. He said he went in with all these questions and then decided to just let Putin talk, which was probably a recipe for disaster. But they have some interesting conversations through talking about the interview. You know what I mean?
I still think it's ridiculous that like it was never going to end well for Tucker. You're going to interview a guy who could, if he wanted, to just disappear you in that country right then and there. And then he has the audacity to be like, he asked me softball questions like a pussy, American pussy with his bow tie. Dude, he's not going to ask you hard-hitting questions. You took a fucking billionaire's Super Bowl ring off his hand.
That would have been a hard-hitting question.
I don't think
Do you
Tucker-
still have the ring?
I don't think Tucker was worried about like his safety per se, because that's just way too public for Putin to do something like that. You know, he doesn't want to make an act of war against the United States. That's crazy. But I see your point. Like he was never going to go in there and be able to have a legit. First of all, it's being translated. So right away, you're like at this massive disadvantage.
Yeah,
of
every
having,
question
like-
he asked went back to Putin and was like, first, sir, he said, you look lovely
Yeah.
today in your suit.
He said, "How did you get so huge?"
Yeah.
You know.
He said, shirtless, you look like an Adonis.
And then he
And
asked,
then he asked how the Russian people are going to benefit from the next election.
But it's the Saudi guy and then Putin.
"That's a
As
funny."
the craziest world leaders. Or maybe the guy from China. He must be up there, eh?
What do you mean craziest? What does that mean, craziest world leaders? Because I'd put Kim Jong-un up there as
Top
like,
G's.
Oh, you're like-
Biden isn't in the conversation.
what are you talking about? He controls the biggest military on earth.
But
How
he
is
doesn't
he
control
not?
himself.
Fine, maybe not Biden, but
Barack
someone...
Obama controls the biggest military on earth.
If that's the
Sure,
case.
sure, whatever. Someone over here controls the biggest...
Yeah.
Not in Canada. I meant over
The
there.
industrial military complex operates the biggest military power in the world.
Absolutely.
What's your point?
And the Saudis do not have...
Those are the three most powerful leaders in the world.
Russia, America,
China.
and China?
And keep in mind, too, I don't think Saudi has a big army. They have Russia and China
No,
as
but they have
allies.
all the money.
Yeah, I get it.
What about North Vietnam? Isn't it not the money?
Did you say
Isn't it the
North Vietnam?
or North Korea rather? Sorry, North Korea.
They have no power, though.
Well, isn't it whoever has the nukes has the power?
No, I think it's money.
It's money.
I think money is the most power.
Yeah, I don't remember Scarface saying first you get the nukes, then you get the power,
First,
then
you
get the pussy.
the money, then you get the khakis, then you get the girls. Is that the order? Money, khakis,
Yeah,
girls.
there's nothing about nukes in there.
No, but being serious now,
Are we?
that is what decides world power is the nukes. Otherwise, North Korea, Iran, these guys aren't even in the conversation, but they're always in the conversation.
Pakistan and India have nukes. They're not in the conversation.
They are in the conversation. If you have nukes, you have to be in the conversation. How many countries have nukes? It's like 6.
Can you go look at the score of the Boston game when you have a sec?
Do I want to?
Please look at it. You have to.
In more Simon's wheelhouse, reality celebrity rehab
Yeah.
was the first generation of throwing dignity out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Just taking the check to go do there to humiliate yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's not so crazy when you look at everyone vlogging and showing what a train wreck their life is, or I guess the best life, because back then they were just happy for it.
No, I think the thing is this. Everyone, like, forever, America, most of us love a comeback story. We love someone who's like pulled themselves up from the bootstraps or who's pulled themselves out from poverty or something like that. We love that story. So now most of us live like a cushy life. So people want to be a victim. They're searching for something to say, I didn't have it that easy. And look at me, look at how well I'm doing. It's kind of like universities. Like, so because everyone was scoring so high at universities started being like, well, what else do you have? It can't just be scores because everyone scores high. And then it started being this victim thing. Like, it's like, well, I was raised by a single mother. Like, oh, well, I was raised by no parent, or you know what I mean? And then it became this thing where like you couldn't get into university unless you had the sobbiest story and high grades. And I think that too has played into like this. Everyone wants to be a victim. Everyone wants some sort of sob story around them. And that's how we end up here.
It just laid the groundwork for people to exploit themselves to the max.
It's like crime. Like we grew up in an era where like no fucking criminal would have ever thought of posting their crime somewhere where it could be seen by someone else.
Although there was cops,
What do you
which
mean?
is sort of like a vlog.
Yeah, but that's different. That's like the cops are actively out there trying to stop criminals anyway. So someone's just following them with a camera.
Chat. Should I shoot him or should I tase him?
Well, we also grew up in a time where the idea of like accosting a fast food worker was
Yeah.
the last thing you would possibly do because they got your order wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different
Yeah.
world right now.
I wonder. I think people still treat service. People snap. I've seen they throw coffees.
Yeah, that's what
what
I'm
he's saying.
saying. It happens all
He's
the
saying
time.
it's getting
now.
worse, not
saying
better.
that didn't happen
Well,
when we were kids.
I don't know, or it did happen. Just for sure, we hear about everything more. It's back to that Steven Pinkerman. Like
I
it
don't-
seems like it's worse, but we just have more. I don't know.
I think politeness has gone out the window, and the idea of like respect your elders and things like that don't exist anymore. That's just non-existent in today's world.
Yeah, but respect your elders went out the window because we were like, wait a minute, they just lied to us when we were kids. That's all they did. So now we were like, wait a minute, why do I respect these assholes?
Sure, but there was always a certain like, you know what I mean, hierarchy just based on age that seems to be gone, which I don't know if necessarily is a good thing.
Who cares? Is that it, Kamar?
Well, they addressed that there is actually a Euro step.
In basketball.
I'm sorry?
It's in basketball.
A Euro step?
That's what
Yeah,
it's
he's
called.
talking about traveling. He's talking about,
There is an I'm not crazy. They've tweaked something
Yes.
or put a filter on something to allow it to, and why. And apparently, there's people who can break down why this is not a travel,
yes.
and it's just a rule. I don't think it would help me get to the NBA had I been to use or employ, for that matter, the Euro step. So that's why it was just confusing to me. But now there's an explanation. I accept
Dude,
it.
if you look at all the
this guy just missed his college basketball
Yeah,
team
'cause of the Euro
step.
the step.
Yeah.
Kamar, the best is if you look at all the comments under, I've seen a lot of these videos where someone breaks it down as to why it's not. Dude, the comments under it are fucking hilarious. It's all people like, yeah, try that shit at my gym, motherfucker. Like, dude, it's just people like, I'll fuck you up. You do that in our gym. Our game will kill you. They travel. They do. I'm sorry. The Euro step, fuck that.
It's not just the Euros though.
No, it's the move. It's called the Euro step. It's like a specific move in basketball.
Well, I know, but
that
it
was-
must be based on European players.
Of course
doing
it is. Yes.
It's
You've
like
seen
the
it a lot.
Euro dive in hockey.
Well, it's like you guys were saying no one does the pivot anymore. The Euro step is just a,
It's the new pivot.
yes.
They've incorporated. They're like, we're not going to pivot, but then I get that as like a bonus step, right?
What's crazy is watching Wembanyama. I watched him the other day. He was standing at the 3-point line on defense. He's standing at the 3-point line, and this guy drives the lane from over there at the 3-point line.
He just takes one step.
Wemby took one step and reached in and stole the ball, and I was just like, dude, go gadget arms. Like, what am I watching? What am I fucking watching?
Yeah, that guy's long.
Did you see the other night, Simon? He became one of a few members of the 5-5-5-5-5 club.
What is that?
It's where you have 4 stats where you hit 5 at least. So he had 5 blocks, 5 steals, 5 assists, 5 rebounds.
Wow.
5 points. Fucking nuts.
Wow.
That's it, Kamar, right? The Euro step, that's how we're ending it.
No, they talked about, and this is the final frontier of sports entertainment. They talked about situations where athletes would talk to you while they beat you.
Yeah.
The ultimate
Max Holloway.
Habib is one of the new one, whatever. But the trash talking that we'll never know what was said. But if we could get into that, still now today, players actually mic'd up on OnlyFans, and you hear what they say to each other.
The NHL mic'd up is the fucking best.
I would love to hear.
You get snippets, but there must be so much in
dude,
every single
yeah.
sport, especially the blame it on the game. Just the interactions of the competitiveness is it's the missing piece.
practice. We're talking about practice.
Well, that was an interview.
No, I know, but him mic'd up
Mic'd up.
would be fucking hilarious.
Like whatever Travis Kelce said to Andy Reid.
I mean, we can read his lips there. Why the fuck wasn't I on the fucking field?
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Dude, the clip of Peyton.
You should do that.
The clip of Peyton Manning. Have you ever seen it? Where he's yelling, it's dude on the field. The guy misses a block, and you can audibly hear him yell out, "God damn it, Ronnie!" as he's running out to the sideline. It's fucking incredible.
Oh, that's funny.
God damn it, Ronnie!
But
That
yeah,
guy must have made the same mistake like 15
Fucking
times.
incredible.
when we started this podcast,
Yeah.
I was always saying there should be a league where the fans choose to call the plays.
Yeah.
It exists.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Johnny Manziel played in it.
Really?
Yeah. And it started right before COVID, and then obviously fell apart.
Johnny,
Apparently it's coming
that's
back
what
up.
Johnny Football's doing now?
That's what a lot of guys are doing.
Dude, someone posted the other day.
Anything you say, it will happen.
I guess the Patriots, this is a while ago, but someone reposted the other day. The Patriots hit 1 million. It was either like 1 million followers. They hit something, some milestone. And they tweeted out, they were like, "We want to thank our 1,000,000th fan." And their name was because it's Twitter, I hate N-words.
Really?
Yep. And
No.
yeah, dude.
And they had to say thank you to that fan. Are they stupid?
I just think it was an automated, like whoever, you know what I mean? They have it set up so
well,
that whoever
that's why you don't automate that shit.
Those
man.
pranksters.
Did you hear about, well, dude, Mountain Dew back in the day. This is like one of the earliest internet pranks. Mountain Dew decided, they were like, "You've heard about this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Hitler was right.
Yeah, to name their new drink.
Name the new
What
flavor.
the fuck did they think was going to happen?
I don't know. Incredible.
Yeah, that's all I got. I love the soda. Love the soda.
Yeah.
And I give this a 3.5.
I'll give it a 4.
I'll give it a 3.425.
Dan's just funny. Not bitty at all. Just a funny guy.
No, he's hilarious.
He's
a
riffy.
great,
So funny.
He's a great
He's riffy.
talk.
He's rolling with
Yeah,
every
yeah,
single thing.
yeah.
And he didn't let Joe like steamroll the
No,
conversation. He held his own.
No, he comes in with fun
Anwar
stuff to
let him
talk about.
steamroll the
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, Anwar's the same place he was the last time he was on the podcast.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
I
there
gave
it is.
him every
There it is.
opportunity.
There it is.
I even led the fucking donkey to the water.
No, I think you said it, and I agreed. And therefore, you.
Well, I only said it because you didn't. Come on.
All
All
right.
right.
It was quite the week.
That is an episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Maybe, just maybe, you're willing to go one step further. We have a Patreon. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. Head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. For that $5, you get a bunch of old stuff. You'll get new episodes of the post show. It's the show we shoot the shit. And that's it. Other than that, thank you to BetterHelp for supporting the show. Oh yeah, and RIP Bender. That's it. I hope you have a great week. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.